Hello and welcome to the West Midlands and to MONMORE Green for more Monday Night Speedway as Wolverhampton Wolves host Sheffield Tigers in the Sports Insure Premiership. A very good evening to you as always. We've got our resident experts in Calvin Tayton and Scott Nichols. Calv, you and I spoke 7 days ago about how much happens in the world of Speedway in just a week. Well, last week, no exception.
Exactly that. Incredible, isn't it? You know, so many changes. There's been some pretty interesting results, to say the least. But, you know, here tonight, we've got 3 changes in the Sheffield team. It's just coming thick and fast. Tough for us to keep up with it all, in truth. But, no, it's as we approach the playoffs, I mean, it really is going to just stir it up big time. Yeah,
and it means there's still jeopardy, which is exciting.
Oh, yeah. You know, with Ipswich coming on strong, Leicester obviously in free fall, there's so much to race for. And these 2 clubs are looking really good, and they just need a few points here and there, but nonetheless it's looking like they could be racing each other in the playoffs as well, so Sheffield here tonight will want to do well.
And Scotty, how hard is it for a rider at this time of year? Come into the playoffs, you might be doing it for multiple leagues in different countries as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's an awful lot of racing, a lot of travelling, avoiding injuries, and like Kelv just said, there's a lot of team changes, and if you're one of those riders that's possibly on the cusp of being pulled out of the team, it's really hard for you to maintain that focus. You're kind of almost performing to keep your job, which can be a good thing. So it's exceptionally hard, and this really is the crucial stage of the season.
Well, we mentioned it, there's been a load of Speedway, particularly across the Premiership in the last 7 days. Here's Dave Rowe to bring you up to speed.
Wolverhampton are on the brink of playoff qualification after a 46-44 win over Ipswich in another dramatic meeting at MONMORE Green. But that spot is still not quite secure, and the Witches still have an outside chance of the top 4 after Jason Doyle and Emil Saifuddinov raced to a 5-1 in Heat 15 to take the aggregate point.
Normally coming in here and putting a performance like that, you'd be really happy, but obviously we've left ourselves such a massive task to try and make the playoffs that we needed to win, and yeah, it's gutting to lose by 2 because I think we're in such good form. It's just not quite there, and we've left ourselves too much to do.
Peterborough Sheffield on Monday saw both rising stars ruled out after Dan Gilks and Jordan Jenkins crashed in Heat 2, reducing the visitors to 5 riders as number 1 Tobias Michalak was missing after a crash in Poland. The home side went on to stun the Tigers with a 53-37 win, temporarily moving them off the bottom of the Premiership table, and they've now signed Artem Laguta for their final 4 matches. Thursday in the Premiership, and Ipswich's playoff hopes remain alive after a 51-39 win over Leicester at Vauxhall. Jason Doyle scored a paid maximum with 14+1, with Emil Saifuddinov on 11+1, unbeaten following a Heat 1 disqualification for bringing down Stevie Worrall, as the home side took all 3 league points available.
Sometimes there are no words.
Robert Lambert made a sensational return to Kings Lynn as the Stars defeated league leaders Bellevue in a dramatic Heat 15 at the Adrian Fox Arena. Lambert overtook both Brady Kurtz and Dan Bewley in the decider to clinch a 46-44 victory to move the home side off the bottom of the Sports Insure Premiership table. On the same evening, Sheffield moved back into the playoff places with a 50-40 win over Wolverhampton, clinching the aggregate point in a superheat. Tobias Michalak struck a paid maximum for the Tigers and combined with Tai Woffinden for a 5-1 in Heat 15, which reversed the scores from the team's initial meeting at MONMORE Green earlier in the season. That same pairing then took the extra point. Saturday evening racing came to the Premiership as Sheffield piled the pressure on Leicester in the race for the playoffs with a 47-42 away win. The Tigers were successful in a seesaw encounter at the Pidcock Motorcycles Arena, which saw them lose a 6-point lead, trail by 5 with 3 races to go, and then strike back with 2 5-1s and a 4-2. It means Simon Stead's side are close to confirming the top 4 finish, but the Lions still have much work to do, with Ipswich now very much in the frame. So here's how it stood heading into Monday. Bellevue secure, Wolves need 1 more win, Sheffield effectively need 1 more win, Ipswich can get to 34 points if they win at Kings Lynn next Monday. Leicester only have 1 home match remaining, that's tonight against Kings Lynn. Then they have tough away trips next week to Wolves and Peterborough, so the question is, who will miss out?
Well, Bank Holiday Monday means the traditional lunchtime meeting at Bellevue, so the Aces earlier today hosted the Leicester Lions. Here's Dave Rowe again with the report.
Bellevue were chasing all 3 points to make virtually sure of top spot in the league table, whilst Leicester were keen to defend a 14-point advantage to at least come away with the aggregate point. As always, a big crowd in Manchester on the bank holiday, and it was the Aces who made a flying start. Skipper Brady Kurtz signalled their intentions with a great ride in Heat 1 to pass the Leicester number 1, the ex-Bellevue star Max Frick. Kurtz coming through on the inside, and that very much set the tone for the afternoon. The Lions hit trouble in Heat 3. Justin Sedgman, the rider in yellow, suffering mechanical problems as Charles Wright joined Jamin Lidsey for the first 5-1 of the meeting. Richie Worrall in third place. Leicester were without Richard Lawson after a crash yesterday at Redcar. Former skipper Chris Harris made a guest appearance. He's in white here, outgating Dan Bewley in Heat 4 with Drew Kemp, but the Aces star was quickly through on the inside, getting past both as the home side kept on extending their lead. Lidsey and Wright followed up in Heat 5. It was already 21-9 in Bellevue's favour. That aggregate point very much on. Lidsey, Kurtz and Bewley were all looking unbeatable, even though Harris showed plenty of fight to move inside Charles Wright in Heat 9 for second place. Even so, the Aces were dominating the meeting. Lidsey's third win moved them a massive 18 points ahead. The Australian would go on to score a 12-point maximum, and in fact in the whole meeting the home side only ran 2 last places. Meanwhile, Leicester's search was just for a solitary race win, and Frick looked set to provide one in heat number 11, but this was the race of the day. Watch this from Bewley in ready, so spectacular when he's building up speed around the outside of the National Speedway Stadium. Frick trying to ride almost every line to try and cover him, but Bewley getting faster and faster on the outside. At this point, Frick looks to have control, but watch this from Bewley round the outside on turns 3 and 4, and then as Frick moves out to block him, Bewley simply turns back, through on the inside. Another spectacular victory, and that made it 45-21. Frick did win heat 15, but only after an emphatic heat 13-5-1 from Bewley and Kurtz. The final score of Bellevue 61, Leicester 29, and manager Mark Lemon delighted. The reigning champions once again in great form.
The performance by the boys, not just tonight, but the whole season's been immaculate. From word go, apart from the blip of the first 3 or 4 meetings, they found their mojo and they haven't really looked back. So, stunning performance once again.
So Bellevue complete their regular campaign on 44 points. That should be enough to finish top. Wolves and Sheffield next in line, and Leicester's current form gives Ipswich real hope that a win at Kings Lynn next Monday could be enough to take that final playoff place.
Dave, thank you. Well, to avoid any confusion, that was Chris Harris riding for his former club, Leicester Lions. That is the merry-go-round situation that we're in, Cal.
It's quite bizarre, isn't it? He's really, he's released 1 minute and all of a sudden he's been asked to come back and deputise for Richard Lawson. But that's Speedway, that's the way it works. And, Chris is out there. It's a profession.
Yeah.
He's earning money today. So, it's quite bizarre. But, it's an anomaly with Speedway where you have this guesting. So.
And we've actually got an interesting storyline tonight where Tai Woffinden back here at MONMORE Green, first time since 2016, helped them win the title. He's now on the opposing side to his, Pete Adams, who we always see in his camp at the Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, they're like father and son, aren't they? Pete's been around Tai forever and done a marvellous job with him. Of course, Tai spent his whole career here prior to coming back to the Sheffield Tigers. So it'll be an interesting evening. And also, this is a tight technical track, but something that Tai hasn't really encountered at all in the last 5 years. So it may take a race or two just for him to settle in, but he's doing a great job for the Tigers. He really has been a fan favourite. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, let's head to Scott Nichols now. He's with the captains.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. 2 captains join me. Come to Sheffield captain Kyle Howarth. Kyle, you boys are pretty set to be in the playoffs, so how important is it to keep that motivation, determination coming into tonight?
Yeah, it's huge. We obviously want to keep the momentum going. A big win on Saturday at Leicester to get 3 points there, put us further up on the board, a little bit pressure off. But, coming into the playoffs, you want to be coming in firing, don't you, with a lot of confidence in the team. So we're coming here to win and build that confidence.
Definitely, there's been a few changes and kind of a few things going on with the team. Does that unsettle you at all?
It's obviously out of our hands. It's up to the promotion and the manager what they do. And obviously, there's been a few team changes, and that's just how it is in Speedway, unfortunately. And it's done now, and we've got some new team members. Obviously, they're not here today. They'll be with us on Thursday, and we'll just regroup and crack on.
Cool, thanks. Can we come to Sam, Wolverhampton captain? Sam, you boys are normally so dominant at home. You only need 1 point tonight to secure that playoff place, but the last few meetings, it's kind of gone down to the wire. On reflection, can you put your finger on as to why that has been?
You know, we haven't actually lost a meeting here this year, but like you said, we've been pushed close the last few meetings, and I'm not too sure why. We've sort of been better away from home, actually, but I don't really know why. I think we've had a couple of gaps between meetings, and it sort of unsettles us a little bit, but yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but hopefully tonight we can have a bit of a better run.
Get a result and secure that spot. Right, I'm going to do the toss. I'm going to get you to call Kyle.
Heads.
Oh, I'll do that again. That was a pretty pathetic one.
Heads.
Kyle goes heads. Heads it is. Kyle, what are you going to go? Heat 1 or Heat 15?
Goal 1 and 3.
Okay, there you go. So the Sheffield Tigers pick gates 1 and 3, Heat 1. Back to you, Abby.
Scott, thank you. Let's head trackside now and get the latest on the conditions with Calvin.
We're in MONMORE Green for tonight's Premiership match, and the Sheffield Tigers are in town. And guess what? Tai Woffinden, the former 3-time world champion, of course, a Wolverhampton Wolf, is back in town. So we're all very excited about that. I've made my way to the exit of turn 2 with the dirtometer, and they have worked the track really quite heavily here. Plenty of dirt. This is what they traditionally do here. They call it the Carlson Corridor, and it does tend to sort of focus the rider's attention on the inside of both corners, not to turn number 2, but turn 4 as well. You'll see, guys, tractor's just watering the track. We'll make our way across when he moves by. When you move away from where they've ripped the track up, track's actually really quite firm. Dirtometer struggling to go in, hardly any dirt here at all. So with the fresh water going down, it's going to be a little bit slippery, no man's land. You don't want to be here. Now, this is different. Every time I've been here this season, we've had plenty of grip on the outside, very little. They haven't ripped the outside, so they're expecting this to evolve through the meeting. And I would think it's going to be much later on before we actually see this high, wide line being used. Start line looks mint. I've got to say, really ripped nicely. Plenty of grip there. Shouldn't be too many excuses. Wolverhampton Wolves, they've only just been getting over the line lately, so they really want to put in a big performance. Sheffield Tigers looking for 3 more points to secure their place in the top 4. Wolverhampton need 1. So plenty to race for tonight. Looking forward to it. The weather's behaving. There's going to be a terrific crowd in. Great atmosphere. Do not miss it.
Thanks, Cal. Well, there is a terrific crowd in here tonight. It's our last televised broadcast before we head to the playoffs in a couple of weeks' time. And the hashtag for you all to use this evening is Walshy. It's pleasing Scott Nichols no end. It's Walshy. So any questions you've got for Scott, I'll ask them to him later on in the programme. OK, coming up, we will meet the teams. We will also speak to Chris Van Straten, the promoter here at Wolverhampton, on the future of this historic club. We are joined by Wolves man Stevie Worrall, but actually what we want to talk about is the individual event this weekend. So a couple of weeks ago, you got the runner-up position that gave you the wild card to Cardiff. How are you feeling about it?
I guess it's not really sunk in fully yet. You know, like what an opportunity it is. You know, there's not many people who have, you know, that on the resume. You know, that they're able to say that they've been to Cardiff and racing in a British Grand Prix. And you know, for me, being a British guy, you know, this is what we strive for. So fantastic opportunity. You know, I'm realistic to the fact that these guys are the best in the world. But you know, this is where we all want to be. This is why we're here. This is why we do it. So you know, I'll grab that opportunity with both hands and go and get my best.
When you think about lining up then alongside your likes of Bartosz Zmarzlik, how will your nerves be, do you reckon?
I don't know. You know, it's a big occasion. You know, just being in the stadium. You know, as fans, it raises hairs on your neck. So, yeah, being sat on the start line with them all whilst the engines are revving will be a completely different experience. But you know, I'm not new to it. We do it on a regular basis. I guess not in front of that many people, but yeah. I guess the way I've just got to look at it is just go there and enjoy it. You know, and try not to put the pressure on. And I think that should hopefully help me relax a bit more.
We heard you speaking to our very own Kelvin Tatum and his podcast, and your build up to Cardiff is just crazy. In terms of riding that much, does that give you an advantage in terms of not being able to think too much about Cardiff?
I would say it's probably not the best preparation, but I guess in my situation it is. You know, like you say, I don't have the opportunity to just, you know, sit in a house and overthink things and maybe change things that I don't need to, and you know, I can go into it off the back of racing almost every night for the last 2 weeks. You know, it's not ideal because equipment-wise, you know, it takes its toll, and it's trying to figure out getting engine service at the right time and getting everything prepared, because obviously I don't just want to turn up looking when all the bikes are all, you know, nice and shiny, and you know, so we've got a bit of work to do to get things shiny and nice. And but you know, that's it. I don't want to change too much, so it's nice to, you know, go into it on the flow of well, hopefully it'd be good meetings. You know, I don't want to go into it off the back of bad ones, but you know, go into it on a good run of form and no time to think about it and just get on.
And will you have your family there?
Yeah, they'll all be there. Yeah.
And again, does that just add something extra?
Yeah, you know, like it's something. You know, my kids, I think they're old enough now to realise what I do, and you know, and what the occasion is. You know, they've been to Cardiff. They come last year. My son Elliot's been a few years now. My daughter come last year. It was her first time, but she fell asleep halfway through, bless her.
She won't win Daddy's on the track this time.
Well, that's it. You know, it's a completely different experience for them now. You know, and they've got something to be there and cheer for. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know they are. They keep. I mean, I've not seen them the last few days, but when they phone me up, they keep mentioning it every time. So.
And you're going to have so much British support as well. Stevie, we can't wait to see you go out for your first heat, but we'll see you on qualifying before that. We wish you the absolute best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stevie. Welcome back to MONMORE Green. Before we meet the teams, just a reminder of the other motorsport coming your way. It includes MotoGP, Catalonia Grand Prix, they're in Barcelona, and you can watch it on TNT Sports 2 from Friday at 8 o'clock with their free practice sessions. Speedway Grand Prix, a whole host of us will be in Cardiff, including Stevie Worrall. That's around 8, and the studio show will be from 4:30 on Eurosport 2. The Motocross World Championships is in Turkey, and you can catch that Sunday midday on Eurosport 2, and the World Superbikes are in France for round 9 in Manicourt, 9th and 10th of September, and you can watch free practice also on the Friday. Okay, the riders are ready to take to the track for the parade. Let's rejoin Calvin.
Thank you very much, Abby. Is filling up nicely. The MONMORE Green, the first rider out is Jason Edwards, coming in to replace the injured Dan Gilks, the rising star. Jason has had plenty of experience in recent times with Kings Lynn and Ipswich. That has a bright future, no question about that. Next up is Carl Newman. Now he comes in to replace Louis Kerr this evening for the Sheffield Tigers. We've been talking about all sorts of changes, and this is one of them. Carl Newman will be a guest this evening. He rides for the Poole Pirates at the moment, has had a long career in British Speedway and has had plenty of success. This is my man to watch, no surprise there. Tai Woffinden has been in sparkling form. It's a huge week for him. He's been busy with his Polish club as well, but he's been doing sterling work for the Sheffield Tigers, and he's thoroughly looking forward to the British Grand Prix this weekend as well. Next up is the captain, Carl Hauer, been part and parcel of the Sheffield Tigers for some considerable time now. Been a little up and down this season, but always gives his best. A firm fan favourite, looking forward to the evening, I'm sure. Josh Pickering coming in as well, and Josh Pickering, the Australian, is beginning to find some form. We had a bit of a jovial moment just before coming on air. Reckons he's going to set the place alight tonight, so let's hope he's right. And he's looking forward to it, no question about that. We've got rider replacement at number 2, Adam Ellis, not here. They'll have plenty of changes there. And the number one man now, he is certainly an eye-catching rider around MONMORE. Tobias Mujalak really is a fabulous rider, does superb work. We missed him when we were on air last week, of course, at Peterborough. He was suffering from some injuries, which he sustained the evening before in Poland. But Tobias is back and is roaring and firing on all cylinders. So they're the Sheffield Tigers in town. They need 3 more league points to make the playoffs. Simon Stead is their team manager. Rising star then for the home team, Leon Flint, coming out on track. He's making progress, quite as much progress he would have liked this season, but nonetheless a rider similar to Jason Edwards that's got a good future. Zach Cook has been terrific for the Wolves this year, coming in his debut season. Really has done a great job down at number 6. Good to see him riding. Of course, his brother rides for the Peterborough Panthers, Ben. Now, Rory Schlein back into British Speedway, having had a year out, retired, but came out of retirement and has done a terrific job. Experienced rider now, Rory Schlein, and gets around this track terrifically well. This team are looking for a big performance this evening. They've had a couple of close calls. Ipswich last week particularly was really tight indeed. Ryan Douglas. Now, Douglas is in good form, the Australian rider, and he's certainly one that Pete Adams rates very highly. And Ryan is coming into good form right at the right time. We're only just a few short weeks away, of course, from the playoffs itself. 1 point required for the Wolverhampton Wolves. It's been an injury-hit season for Luke Becker, but on his evening, he's nigh on unbeatable around here. Really is an eye-catching rider. Nice, neat and tidy rider. Being mentored by Greg Hancock, 4-time World Speedway champion. No better man for that. So Luke Becker rides at number 3. Riding at number 2, the talk of the town, of course, Stevie Worrall riding in the British Grand Prix at the weekend. Hugely excited about that, but he's doing great work for the Wolverhampton Wolves as well. So he's my man to watch for the Wolves. A busy man as well, riding pretty much every night on the lead up to the British Grand Prix. And Sam Masters, who leads from the front, he captains the team and done a great job for the Wolverhampton Wolves. And Sam certainly is a hard man to beat around this tight technical track. This track for Tai Woffinden, who hasn't been here since 2016. It may just be an interesting moment for Tai to come back to this technically demanding track. We'll keep an eye out for that to see how he settles in. But for Sam Masters, he'll be excited about the prospect of coming up against Tai Woffinden tonight, I'm sure. So they're the 2 teams. Let's get back down to Abbey.
Kelvin, thank you very much. We are now joined by Chris Van Straten, the promoter here at Wolverhampton. And Chris, MONMORE Green, the home of Wolverhampton Wolves Speedway for 95 years. I know there's been a season-long battle to try and find a new home for the sport. I believe you've got an update for us.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is still there. We are moving in that direction, but it can't be ready for next year, unfortunately. And so that British Speedway can make its plans, we've made this announcement today that unfortunately there'll be no Wolverhampton Speedway in 2024. It's very sad, it's very emotional. I can count on one hand the number of fixtures remaining here now, so the emotion is building. I've been here like 32 years. That's a hell of a long time. And the supporters have grown with me, and that's the reason we made the announcement in the programme tonight, so they could read it first. And obviously now it will get widespread news and coverage, and we've had a lot of good local coverage, and we've had support from the MPs and everything. So I'm pretty confident that we will be back, if I can use that famous phrase, but it won't be next year.
I mean, it's shocking news, really. It's sad news. And like you say, it's in the programme tonight. The fans that come out here in all weather conditions, it's just so disappointing that it's come down to that, because Wolverhampton is just a part of British Speedway. But like you say, hopefully that's just for 1 year that they're out.
Yes, I'm fingers crossed. You know, we've got the incentive, we've got the, you know, the progress will be made, hopefully, and we should be back in 25. But it's only fair to let people know now we're not around in 24. British Speedway will carry on without us. We'll be missed, no doubt. But
and in terms of the riders, how have they taken that news?
Well, you know, we've always been loyal to our riders, and a lot of these riders have been with me a long time, and it's very sad for them, of course. but obviously they will find alternative employment, and hopefully, you know, some of them will be in a position to come back and wear the Wolf again in future years.
And you see that loyalty, because so many other teams, we've been talking about it in the programme, that there's so many changes, there's so much movement, but there never is in Wolverhampton. You always see the same faces, and that loyalty just creates a really unified front.
Yeah, I hope so. It's the way I am, and you can't change overnight. So, you know, I like to be loyal to the riders as much as I possibly can.
And you've got playoffs to come. You're so nearly there, and what a way to finish this season if you were to go on and win.
Well, yes. Let's hope there's a bit of luck on our side, and you know, at least we've staged the final here at MONMORE Green.
Fingers crossed. And Chris, thank you so much for sharing what I know is emotional news. I really appreciate that. Let's head now to Dave Rowe and get the team news from Leicester.
Well, Leicester's wobble has turned into a full-blown crisis. The Lions without a win in 7 matches. They had looked secure for a playoff place, but now they're under massive threat, and even a win tonight may well not be enough on its own. The Lions beaten here by Sheffield on Saturday, hammered at Bellevue this lunchtime. We're now informed that recent signing Craig Cook won't be staying with them. In the meantime, they have to win tonight, and they've brought in Dan Bewley to guest for the injured Richard Lawson. The Kings Lynn, a tough old season, but there was some good news last Thursday with that dramatic win over Bellevue, and their home match against local rivals Ipswich next Monday is also vital to the playoff race. So the team news for Leicester, it's rider replacement for Cook at number 2, although Lewis Kerr is set to join next week. Bewley stands in for Lawson with Richie Worrall at 5. The Lions also really need Justin Sedgman to get back to the form he was showing earlier in the season. He didn't score in the defeat at Bellevue. For Kings Lynn, Robert Lambert's return has been a massive boost, but they've had their problems elsewhere. Nikolai Clint and Thomas Jorgensen on the long-term injury list. Emil Broom now ruled out as well, so 2 guests tonight. Meanwhile, reserves Simon Lambert and Anders Rowe both scored big on Thursday. Underway at 8 p.m. here in the East Midlands, it's Leicester against Kings Lynn.
Dave, thank you. Just a reminder then of that hashtag. It is Walshy. What did you make of that breaking news from Chris Van Straten that Wolverhampton will not be competing in British Speedway next year? But we have got Heat 1 here at MONMORE Green, and it's coming up.
Cardiff could never be described as another meeting, because when you're in the pit area at Cardiff and you're away from the noise, the pits are quite sealed there under the stadium, so you can be, it's quite tranquil under there. It's not very light and it's pretty cool and everything, and then you walk up the tunnel and you come up into the stadium. There's never calmness, there's never anything, because the noise hits you like that. It's deafening, and the horns and the number of people there. But from a riding point of view, I think Cardiff probably brought the best out in me quite a few times. I think that stage of your life when you're competing in Speedway Grand Prix means everything to you, and Cardiff's an important event as part of that calendar. So to say one's more important than the other is probably unfair, but the last one I won in 2009, obviously to go through the card, was for me a special day. You have days at work where you can't do anything wrong, and that was almost one of the most perfect days of my career, and it happened on the biggest stage of our year at Cardiff. So that was very special and satisfying to be able to go there and do that, that's for sure.
2010, to be honest, it wasn't. When we came here, Mum and Dad again were over for this one. I obviously wanted to win, didn't think I had much of a chance to win, but as the meeting went on, whatever happened, and then to win there, I remember going over the finish line, just shaking my head going, oh my God, I've just won this place. You can't describe it, just like standing there and just hearing everybody and then your name and all that kind of stuff. I think after 2010, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get this feeling again. I knew how good it was, and then to win in 2012, and I knew as soon as I crossed the finish, like, I'm going to stand back on top now. And that whole feeling, and at the time with the points was in the championship was quite close, so that was like a massive turning point. And I felt on top of the world at that time anyway. And I had Max here as well, and you can't describe it. It's just that feeling that until you experience it, you don't know.
It was a tough meeting for me. As I remember, the track was pretty rough, and it was pretty tough racing out there. So I kind of scraped into the final, and lucky enough could win the final. But I remember the kind of the parade lap afterwards. We played Who Let the Dogs Out. I remember that. That was really cool. And the whole arena was really boiling up. That was awesome. Yeah, all of that. It wasn't planned. It was not planned at all. The plan was to go out and, you know, just put the back wheel into the dirt line up on the fence and hopefully get some more traction. It was supposed to be bouncing off it. But as soon as I got the back wheel into that dirt, it was like 1-to-1 drive. The speed increased. It felt like 15 kilometers in just that, like that. So I was just hanging on to bare life, and I knew that if I would shut the throttle off, I would end up in the stand. So it was so lucky. It was the right meeting at the right place. Cardiff, for me, that's I guess what Monaco is for the Formula One drivers. It's great memories. Of course, I haven't always had fantastic meetings here, but it's always such a drama to be here, and it's been just good feelings. I still like when I hear that song, Who Let the Dogs Out. I'm thinking about that first win.
Welcome back to MONMORE Green. Just a reminder that we have got Cardiff, the British Grand Prix coming up this weekend. Who can forget Dan Bewley on the top step of the podium last year? And this weekend, it will include one of the men behind me now, Stevie Worrall. He'll be the wild card. But let's get on with the action. It is Wolverhampton Wolves versus Sheffield Tigers. Heat 1, your commentator, Calvin Tatum.
Thanks very much, Abby. Yes, riders coming out on track for the first time. 8 o'clock start here, slightly later on a bank holiday. Hope you enjoyed your weekend wherever you've been and whatever you've enjoyed. The weather has just about behaved itself today. It's a little bit cool, but nonetheless it's dry here, and riders approaching the tapes for the first time this evening. Both these two teams are enjoying a good season. They're looking favourites to secure their place in the top 4. Home team need a point, get that tonight, and they'll be in. Sheffield needing 3. But they could quite well get that this week as well. Stevie Worrall, what a night it is for him, and what a week it is for him. Heat number 1 then, Carl House will go for the inside in the red and the yellow helmet colours. Gate number 2 in blue is Stevie Worrall. Gate number 3 in white is Tobias Muslak, and Sam Masters, the captain of the Wolverhampton Wolves, go from the outside in the red helmet colour. Simon Stead, the team manager for the Sheffield Tigers, was very disappointed 7 days ago when we saw them in Peterborough, but they bounced back big time recently, and they've been going along very nicely indeed. Tai Woffinden, an inspiration within their team. There's no doubt that Tobias Muslak is a very handy performer here at MONMORE Green. They have been beaten twice by the Wolves on their visit so far this season, so they'll be looking for an improvement here tonight, particularly if they do come head-to-head in the semi-finals of the playoffs in a fortnight's time. As I say, 1 point required for the home team. The referee this evening is Graham Hudson. In the programme it says Chris Sterno, but there has been a change there. And a very healthy crowd in here this evening as well. Great to see on a bank holiday. Here we go, first race of the night. Green lights on. Oh, we're straight into tapes. Drama right from the word go. Looked like Tobias Muslak there was too keen to get on with it, and that's a disappointing start for him. He'll be excluded. We'll see it again, but it does appear that Tobias was the first one to move. Yeah, clearly did. So that's a great shame. He would have been favourite to win that race. Simon Stead now can make a choice. He can either put that rider off 15 metres, or he's excluded there. You can clearly see the white exclusion light is on. He may choose to use a reserve here. Phil Morris there out on track could well be able to give us some information, but those are the options for Simon Stead. Simon, as I say, Simon could put him off 15 metres, or he may choose to use a reserve. That could be Carl Newman or Jason Edwards, who are out in heat number 2. While we've got a moment, we're just looking at Steve Worrall. What an exciting time it is. He's clearly very excited about it, and rightly so. 4 British riders on show at the British Grand Prix this weekend. Plenty of support there is. It's when a British rider wins a race there, it really is quite special indeed. Disappointing start for Tobias Muslak. Unusual for him. He's a big performer here. So 2 minutes is on. I haven't been informed exactly what's going to happen, but we'll find out. I'll bring that news and that information to you as soon as possible. Let's get down to Abby. She's going to have some news for us.
Okay, I'm joined by Simon Stead. Everyone's just trying to get a word from him. What's your decision on this now?
Just going to replace Toby with Kyle Newman, put a reserve in. At least he gets to go from the tapes. It's tough coming from 15 in Heat 1, so let's put Kyle off, give him a chance to get some laps in before Heat 2.
It's a big meeting tonight. You didn't want to start like that.
No, I didn't want to start like that, Abby. No, I didn't. But it can only get better, can't it?
It can only get better. Thanks for chatting to us, Steady. Back to you, Cal.
Thanks, Abby. Kyle Newman coming in then, off the tapes. Not easy from 15 metres in heat number 1. Kyle Newman riding for the Poole Pirates in the championship, going along very nicely, the Poole Pirates. An experienced rider, Kyle Newman. He's ridden for numerous clubs, so good to see him back here in the Premiership this evening, and an opportunity here in heat number 1. Line up for heat number 1, Carl Howarth going from the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Steve Worrall out of gate number 2 in blue. Kyle Newman coming in to replace Tobias Muslak. Gate number 3 in white. Gate number 4 in red is Sam Masters. Opportunity now for the home team to get off to a strong start. Masters there coming up close to gate number 3. He'll want to get off to a flying start. Disappointing news when we heard from Chris Van Straten about MONMORE Green closing for Speedway at the end of this year. It's been part and parcel of Speedway for so long. Let's keep our fingers crossed that they can find a new home in the very near future. Back to tonight then, second time of asking for the opening race of the evening. Here we go, green light is on. Ooh, long pause, but they all behave themselves and they get to the first turn, and it's Howard off the inside. Gets that Carson corridor, works a treat. Around the outside, Kyle Newman also trying to make it work as well, but at this early stage, it's Steve Worrall. I tell you what, Kyle Newman has done remarkably well there. Sam Masters coming up the inside, and this is a bit of a turn up for the books at this early stage. Now down the inside, look at that. Thrust there from Sam Masters up the inside, but Newman has responded. Brilliant stuff from him. Back in the Premiership, and is riding out of his skin in second place, and Sheffield Tigers on a 5-1. Howarth out in front, holding the inside, just over a lap to go. Newman hanging on there under massive pressure by Sam Masters. I got it all wrong before the race there. I thought that the home team were favourites here, but the Sheffield Tigers have turned on the style, and they start with a massive 5-1. That's a turn up for the books. No question about that. Howarth away sharpish from gate number 1, and Carl Howarth was a hero there, somehow hustling the bike to get round the outside of the opposition, and did it very well indeed, particularly when Sam Masters momentarily came through into second place. What a start for the Sheffield Tigers then. Result for you, Carl Howarth out in front, 3 points. Fine ride by Kyle Newman back in second place, 2 points for him. Sam Masters in third place, 1 point. Steve Worrall misses out in the opening race of the night. And what about that, Scott? I wasn't seeing that, a 5-1 to the Sheffield Tigers in heat number 1.
No, certainly didn't see the one coming, Kel. There's a bit of an untidy start, unsettled. I was unsure whether they're going to call it back or not there, because there's certainly a lot of movement on the inside, but Carl Howarth took full advantage at inside gate. He's ridden here before, so he knew to hit that, as you point out, Kelv, that Carlson corridor up the inside. And to see the Wolves boys in, Sam Masters at the back here, that was a big surprise, Kelv.
It was. How on earth did he manage to get round the outside? Because the track's riding slicker tonight. That was a good effort from him, wasn't it?
It was a very good effort. I mean, and Sam Masters got back up the inside of him here, fires up the inside, just runs past the corner. Unusual for Sam. He's so good at turning the bike hard. Allowed that run up the inside. See Kyle Newman, read it very clever there. Cut back up the inside, and Sam had no answer. And like you said, Kel, that is a brilliant move to get around the outside, because it does look slick, but you can see how hard they have to turn the bike here at Wolverhampton.
They do indeed. Thanks very much, Scotty. We'll be in contact very soon. And Carl Howarth, of course, has got 2 on the trot here, so there'll be a slight delay, but nonetheless, that was a terrific start from him and a real confidence booster. Simon Stead said to Abba that he fancied that it would be an idea to give Carl a few laps, and it worked out a treat with Carl coming through in flying colours in the opening race. While we've got this pause, let's pop down to Abby.
Cal, thank you. Sam, I followed you into the pits because you looked like you were quite demonstrative. You were shouting at Pete. What was going on?
Everyone was just moving at the start, and you're not meant to. And the race was, and then I don't know what the ref's trying to do, trying to kill us at the start, holding the tapes forever. But I think that should be restarted, really. I watched the replay, and yeah, there's a jump start there for sure.
So you just think there was movement, and that's why you were going to Pete to try and just ask for a quest. We're actually going to have a look at the start now and see how we. Fortunately, I can't show it to you because we're not next to a monitor. But you said that you absolutely felt like there was movement on that start line.
Well, there was definitely movement. I come in, I felt it, even though I'm looking the other way. But you know, when someone's moving, and then I watch the replay on the telly, and yeah, definitely movement.
Okay, let's see what Scotty thinks. Scott, did you think that should have been a restart?
Yeah, definitely, Abby. I think, like Sam just said there, Sam's off the outside gate of gate 4, so you could argue that he couldn't see what's going on the inside of him, but you can sense it, as Kelv will be able to be aware of that as well. You can sense the movement on the inside, you can hear the engine note die. It's unsettling, and I fully agree. I think it was an unsettled start, and it should have been called back.
Well, there we are, untidy start all round. Tapes were destroyed by Tobias Muchalak, and then Stevie Worrall was the one that appeared to be moving there, but referee Graham Hudson decided that he was going to let it go. Probably his thinking there was that Steve Worrall penalised himself by trying to jump the start, but a sense of frustration in the Wolves camp after heat number 1, but plenty of racing to come to put that right. Heat number 2, riders coming round to the start. Zach Cook and Leon Flint coming out here to represent the home team. Zach Cook, of course, his brother. They ride together in the Poole Pirates in the Championship, but not together in the Premiership. Zach Cook here in his debut season for the Wolverhampton team. Carl Howarth will be delighted to have won heat number 1. Fine start from him. Carl Newman, that was a great effort from him, I must say. Wasn't expecting a rider to be able to get round the outside of Steve Worrall down in turns 3 and 4, but he managed to do it, then held off a frustrated Sam Masters to secure a strong start to the evening. Heat number 2, Zach Cook will go from the inside in the red helmet colour. Carl Newman for his second ride of the night coming out of gate number 2 in white. Gate number 3 in blue is Leon Flint, and off the outside Jason Edwards in the yellow helmet colour. I reiterate, home team need a point, a league point, and they will be in the playoffs. That will secure their place. 3 points required for the Sheffield Tigers. They've got a couple of meetings this week. They're here now, we're watching them live, and they've got home against Kings Lynn on Thursday night. Simon Stead fancies that this week we'll see them do the business. It's likely that these two teams could end up battling it out in the semi-finals or the playoffs as well. Bit of a dress rehearsal tonight. Here we go, heat 2, tapes are up into the first corner, hotly contested and riders down. 2 of them off. Not so much good fortune this time. I'll tell you what, just shows you how things can change in Speedway very rapidly indeed. Carl Newman, a hero in heat number 1, and finds himself on his backside in the first corner. We'll watch it again on the head-on. Newman out of gate number 2, just gets clipped there by Cook on the inside and slips off. Looking from the view that Simon Stead has got, just contact going there. Now, I fully expect all 4 riders to be put back in here. Jason Edwards on the outside, Leon Flint lifting, having to shut the throttle up there. Untidy's there all round. Leon Flint also getting collected as well, and he has to slip off the bike. So all 4 riders are back. That's confirmed for you by the referee. Carl Newman is okay. He's just going to feel a little bit knocked about. The track is slicker than normal. They had greyhound racing here until very late, and they couldn't quite work the track as much as they would have liked, and you can see a little bit of dust flying at these early stages. But as I say, it's a cool evening, plenty of cloud cover, so shouldn't be too much of an inconvenience for riders. Kyle hasn't got a Premiership club. He's been riding for the Pirates. Referee will be giving Carl Newman every chance to just gather himself and get his equipment sorted out prior to the 2-minute warning going on. As I say, Simon Stead and his troops have been beaten here twice previously on their visits. They'll be wanting to put a strong performance in, because if they do end up racing each other in the semi-finals in the playoffs, won't want to be turned over by a big score here and then put themselves under huge pressure at their own track. They'll want to keep it tight if at all possible, and of course if they can win or draw or pick up any points tonight, then that will be very handy indeed. I don't know if Scott's available, but it might be an opportunity to bring him in here while we have this slight
I'm down
pause.
here, Kelv.
Are you there, Scotty? I
hello,
just
mate.
wondered, quite often happens here, doesn't it, down in that first corner at MONMORE? You know this place inside out. It's tight going in there, and I think that was a classic example of it.
Yeah, it is tight, Kelvin. Also, you can see it in the background here. I'll just let it play, but while we talk over it, it is tight, and as they clash there, obviously Carl Newman, you can see he's gone down there, Kelv, but if you miss the start, especially off gate 2, he desperately wants to cut back to the inside, let it run there. Leon Flint does well to move him, but Kelv, like you said, track is a little bit slicker on the outside today, so that means that Carlson corridor, which you can see in the background, this little bit where they're trying to get up on the exit on the inside coming out of turn 1, they're all fighting for that, so first turns are going to be hugely important tonight, Kelv.
Yeah, and the way the track's riding, it is slicker than normal. You're absolutely spot on there. They haven't ripped the outside. Do you think that's detrimental to the home team? Because whenever I've come here previously, they always do work the track on the outside, so you've got two distinctive lines. Sorry, answer that question in a moment. We're going to get down to Abby because she's going to be joined by Carl Howarth.
Yeah. Carl, an interesting point that Scott and Calvin are talking about, that the track's not ripped up as much as it is. It feels slicker out there?
Yeah, it's a lot slicker. Wolves is renowned to be quite a good, grippy, technical track. Today it's very slick and hard, very all on the inside. So it's going to be a race to the inside and racing 4 good laps on the inside. I can't see it producing anything on the outside. So first corners and starts and first corners are going to be very crucial tonight.
And a good win for you in Heat 1, a 5-1. Spoke to Sam Masters afterwards. He wasn't happy with the movement on the start line. What were your thoughts on that?
No, the ref was holding him quite long, to be honest. All of us weren't happy because on the start line you could hear everyone's engine's valve bouncing after a certain bit. So we've asked him to be a bit more fair on the starts. Obviously don't hold them too long because these bikes rev so hard.
Yeah. Carl, thank you. Let's rejoin Calvin.
Yeah, good stuff, Abby. Nobody happy, but Carl Newman won the race. Carl Newman won the race. Carl Howarth, I've done what Scotty did too many Carls about this evening, but Carl Howarth got off to a good start, so he won't complain too much. So riders making their way back round to the start line for heat number 2. Carl Howarth, winner of heat number 1. Carl Newman, a super ride in 2nd place. He's out here in heat number 2 as well. So we're back up to tapes. Second time of asking for heat number 2. Zach Cook off the inside in the red helmet colour. Carl Newman up to gate number 2 in white. Gate number 3 in blue is Leon Flint, and gate number 4 in yellow is Jason Edwards. Let's hope we get cleanly away. 5 points to 1 to the Sheffield Tigers after one race. Bit of a stop-start to the evening so far. Let's hope we get on a bit of a roll now. Jason Edwards on the outside. It's going to be different for the home team with that slightly slicker conditions. They'll have to make some adjustments. Bike setup will not be the same here this evening. Tapes up, away we go into the first corner. Wolverhampton pair showing nicely. Jason Edwards was there but just gets left coming out of turn number 2. Newman once again in the thick of the action coming up the inside. Leon Flint, Carl Newman lifted violently there, that's allowed. Jason Edwards and the home team responding nicely here. Zach Cook out in front, Leon Flint in 2nd place. The dust is flying for Zach Cook and Leon Flint, and Pete Adams and the Wolverhampton Wolves have been much happier about the situation right now. Zach Cook has come into this team and he's settled very nicely indeed. It really has been a star performer on occasion. And it's, with a lap to go, he's looking very strong out in front. Jason Edwards is hanging on in 3rd place. But after the 5-1 in heat number 1 to the Sheffield Tigers, the Wolverhampton Wolves are looking to repay the compliment with a nice 5-1 themselves in heat number 2. Super ride there from Cook out in front then. Flint back in 2nd place. And it's all square. 6 points apiece after 2 races. As I say, that inside gate, Carl Houth was saying to Abby there that starting and first turns are going to be vitally important this evening, and already it is proving to be so. So there's a terrific crowd in here, great atmosphere. Bank holiday Mondays always work very well here. So the result of heat number 2 for you is Zach Cook out in front, 3 points for him, followed home by Leon Flint and 2 points there. Jason Edwards coming through into 3rd place, and Carl Newman, after a terrific ride in heat number 1, fails to score in heat number 2. And got to say, Scotty, that that was pretty straightforward in the end for the home team, but they'll be tough to get the 5-1.
It was, Kelv. Like you say, it's just how quick Speedway can turn. Carl Newman there in gate 2 in the white had a fantastic opening race, and this time he couldn't replicate it. But Zach Cook off the inside gate in the red for the Wolves, he rode the track perfect. He was just hitting that bit of grip up the inside, lap after lap. Leon Flint he was kind of a little bit in no man's land the first couple of laps. You can see Leon Flint here off gate 3. Zach Cook has a good look for him. Coming into this bend here, Leon Flint is committed to outside, and like we said before, Calv, it's not as grippy, but he manages to get enough grip. Carl Newman got way too much grip there, puts him off track. But the man out front, Zach Cook, here now, just coming into the corners a little bit wider, just backing off the gas there, turning the bike nice and hard, and hitting that grip up the inside. Perfect race from Zach Cook.
Yeah, lovely ride from Zach Cook, having a bit of a debrief with Rory Schlein, who is yet to come on track. He'll be waiting patiently for heat number 4 for Rory Schlein. Heat number 3 line up for you. On the inside is Josh Pickering in the white helmet colour. Ryan Douglas coming out of gate number 2 in blue. Carl Howarth for his second ride of the evening will come out of gate number 3 in yellow, and Luke Becker off the outside in red. Luke Becker is a hard charger. The outside run is not working this evening. Pressure on. And Carl Howarth, after a terrific ride in heat number 1 as a rider replacement ride, going away really nicely indeed. And we're on board with Ryan Douglas, and Douglas has been in terrific form. He's had a couple of guest bookings as well lately and done a great job wherever he's gone. And as I say, riders and teams coming into good form at this stage of the season is hugely important when you're in the playoffs. We've seen teams, I think that's the danger for Leicester, because Ipswich are on a roll. They have found their form after a disappointing start to the season, and Leicester just going the other way. Right now, 6 points apiece, nothing to choose between the two sides. Here we go, heat number 3, into the first corner. Pickering's there, Howard hustling it in the middle. Up the inside comes Douglas. What a first turn from Ryan Douglas that was. Managed to get himself momentarily to the front. Josh Pickering going wide out of turn number 4, and Pickering's coming through now. Becker's in the thick of the action as well. That outside, it's slick, it's marbly, and you just get caught in no man's land. And the home team have come through here terrifically well. Pickering trying all he knows, and Howarth is at the back. But Ryan Douglas, riding with so much confidence, didn't panic on that opening lap, and is now joined by the American Luke Becker. Looking like 2 consecutive 5-1s after the shock 5-1 to the Sheffield Tigers in heat number 1. Down the back straight for the last time in heat number 3. Locked together. Poetry and motion from these two in heat number 3. And the maximum score, 2 consecutive races, another 5-1 to them. 11 points to 7 right now. But Ryan Douglas in the early part of the race, we'll look forward to seeing what Scott thinks of this, but Ryan Douglas on board, riding back to the pits, very satisfied indeed. And they've responded in fine style here with 2 maximum scores. That's all we've had tonight, is 3 5-1s, 2 to the home team and 1 to the visitors. So riders making their way back. Result of heat number 3 for you. Ryan Douglas out in front, 3 points for him. Luke Becker coming through well as well, 2 points for him. Carl Howarth picks up a point for 3rd place, and Josh Pickering missing out in heat number 3. But got to say, the home team, Scotty, have responded superbly well, and Ryan Douglas and Luke Becker here were on top form.
They were, Kelv. Ryan Douglas out of gate 2 instantly knows what he wants to do. He misses a start, cuts back the inside, gets plenty of drive up the inside of Josh Pickering there. Doesn't rush the corner too much. Josh Pickering out in that slick. And yeah, Ryan Douglas rides mid-track. Good, interesting to see on board here. Great from Ryan Douglas, his front wheel goes right over that white line. Look, the back wheel's so close, you'll see the bike lift any second, but he rides calm, he knows his track, knows that he needs to hit that grip up the inside. But interestingly, as the race went on, Kelv, Ryan Douglas wasn't actually hitting that, what we call the Carlson corridor up the inside. So for the other riders, that will be encouraging that that kind of mid-track will start to work and develop as the night goes on.
Yeah, they'll be keeping their eyes peeled, won't they? And I'm sure they've taken note of that. And Ryan Douglas, as I say, is going along very nicely at the moment. And that was an encouraging start for him. And the home team are now 4 points up after a shock in heat number 1. Sam Masters and Ryan just having a bit of a chat there. Heat number 4, we're out here with riders approaching the tapes. Tai Wooffinden's first ride at MONMORE Green since 2016 when he won the league title with them. So we'll be excited about that. And there's no doubt that Tai has been box office. There's another huge crowd here, and there's no question he has added to that by his presence for the Sheffield Tigers. There's a change here at reserve as well, with Carl Newman coming in as a reserve switch for Jason Edwards. Third ride of the evening for Carl, who started with a paid win in heat number 2. Here he comes again. Busy man, 3 rides in the first 4 races. He's already huffing and puffing, I would suggest. It's been a restart as well in heat number 2, so there's all sorts going on. We've got just under 20 seconds to go. He'll make it in time. Heat number 4, Carl Newman, for his third ride of the evening, will go from inside gate in the yellow helmet colour. Leon Flint out of gate number 2 in blue. Tai Woffinden on his return to MONMORE Green out of gate number 3 in white, and Rory Schlein off the outside in the red helmet colour. Tai, who has really been enjoying himself back in British Speedway. I've spoken to him once or twice. Seems relaxed, got a smile on his face, and has been riding superbly well. Here we go then, heat number 4, 11 points to 7, 4 points between the 2 teams. Into the first corner, Newman gets there, but look at that from Schlein. Off the outside, made a great effort, but look at Newman now. A little bit of extra grip up the inside has worked a treat. Schlein's gone very wide indeed. Newman just about hanging on out in front. There's nothing to choose between them, but Schlein has had to commit once again to the outside run. Woffinden back in third. Schlein now stamps his authority. Here comes Woffinden round the outside as well. But Rory Schlein's done a remarkable job there. From gate number 4 to get himself to the front. Newman still hanging on in second place. Woffinden doing everything he can. Runs very wide indeed. Quite vulnerable out there. Nothing to really hold or stop the rider. But Rory Schlein, half a lap to go. And he's going to pick up a terrific win. It's going to be the first 3-all of the evening. Terrific ride from Rory Schlein, that. He deserves a pat on the back for that one. That was a fine effort when you consider he had to come from gate number 4. Hustled round the outside of the hard charge in Newman. Woffinden threw the kitchen sink at it as well, but couldn't land a blow, and Rory Schlein gets his evening off to a winning start. Fair play to him. The first 3-all of the evening. The result of heat number 4 for you. Rory Schlein out in front, 3 points for him. Carl Newman back in second place, 2 points. Tai Woffinden back in third, 1 point for him, and Leon Flint misses out in heat number 4. But that was a good ride, Scott, from Rory Schlein, because he was on that vulnerable position on the outside of Newman, and Newman made him work for it.
Yeah, he certainly did, Kelv. I mean, Rory Schlein from the outside there, brilliant race. Tai Wooffinden's just beside me. Have a little look at that replay there, but it's not every time you get to ride up alongside a 3-time World Champion beating. But Tai Woffinden, you know, he'll work it out for the next one. But encouraging that, Kelv, the fact that the outside was starting to work. Rory Schlein here is forced the outside. Carl Newman hugs that inside, rides very well. I thought Rory Schlein had possibly made a little bit of a mistake on too wide there, but it allowed him that run around the outside here, round the outside of Carl Newman. Carl Newman elects to hug that grip up the inside, but Rory Schlein there, brave move for him. He's had a few knocks over the years too, so for him to drop it down on Carl Newman there, get the win. Big 3 points for Rory Schlein. The first 3-all of the evening, going the way of the Wolves right now. Over to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. Well, as the Wolves boys walk back into the pits, it was a slap on the back from Sam Masters to Rory Schlein. But let's head over to Leicester now and get the latest from Davo.
Well, this is quite simply must-win for Leicester here tonight. They've lost their last 3 home matches. They've got to beat Kings Lynn to move back into the top 4. Here's the action from Heat 1 with Max Frick and Robert Lambert, the 2 Grand Prix riders, going at it on the first bend. Max Frick establishing the advantage. Lambert going back round the outside of Justin Sedgman in blue for second place, but the home side opening up with a 4-2 in Heat 1. Look at this for a brutal first bend in Heat 2. The rider in yellow, Anders Rowe. No mercy to Drew Kemp in blue. Drew Kemp gets squeezed out. Jake Allen in red overlocks on turn 2. Rowe in yellow, Simon Lambert in white goes round the outside. Those two scored 26 points between them in their home win over Bellevue on Thursday night, and they open up their first ride here tonight with a 5-1. Anders Rowe and Simon Lambert over the Leicester duo to go 7-5 in front after 2 races. So Leicester under pressure after their big defeat earlier in the day at Bellevue are looking to hit back straight away in Heat 3 with Dan Bewley in red and Justin Sedgman in blue. Bewley guesting for the injured Richard Lawson, and if you are confused about that, their average is actually very, very similar. You do get a slight uplift on a guest for a home rider, so that's how Bewley can guest for Richard Lawson tonight, and they have a clear 5-1 here with Justin Sedgman ahead of Kai Thompson and Connor Mountain. So Leicester get an advantage there, a 5-1, and Richie Worrall in red making a good start in Heat 4 to get the better of Michael Palm-Toft. Drew Kemp trying to get involved as well. Worrall, of course, one of the recent signings. So many changes at Leicester in recent weeks, but he is good around the home circuit at Beaumont Park. Michael Palm-Toft in second place, putting in the challenge. Almost gets through down the inside here on the second lap, but Worrall just about clamps things off into the third bend, and Leicester do lead this meeting in the early stages, but Kings Lynn battling hard. 4 races gone then. It's Leicester 14, Kings Lynn 10.
And the exact same score here, a real pressure meeting for Leicester. At the moment, it's the home side here at MONMORE Green who have a 4-point advantage. And coming up, it will be Heat 5.
It's the pinnacle of British Speedway that community comes together and celebrates. And I've been pushing hard from 2002. I remember drawing gate 4 and thinking, no, I'm not going to let that deter me. I don't care. I can't, I've got to put it behind me. I've got to deal with it and I've got to get on. So I, made a couple of tweaks on the bike and just thought, right, here we go. And I'd missed out a couple of years before on Grand Prix, and I was so determined and desperate to win. And I just, when I made the final in that, I was, putting everything into it. There was nothing going to stop me. I was ready to end up in a pile or end up on top of the rostrum. I went on the rostrum, I did the media conference, and then I got dragged straight for a drugs test. And it was about 3 hours before I came out of there, and when I came out, my team had packed up, everyone was gone. So I basically came out to an empty stadium.
When I rode in England, when I rode for Newport, I was there when Nicky Pedersen won it, and I was in the pits and looking around, and I was just blown away. I thought this was absolutely everything, I just wanted to do that. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win it, everybody is sort of, but you need to keep yourself together as well, It's one of the greatest events every year, and I had a few wins on these temporary tracks, and I don't know, it's just sort of gave me a little bit extra when we were in this kind of environment, and just to ride there is special. So I got a few podiums there, and was good to win it in 2015, so obviously it's one of my highlights. Cardiff it's a little bit bigger as an event, and I won't say it was more special than to win in Copenhagen, but it was definitely on the same level, and it's something I will always remember.
I remember that I've been feeling very good, very comfortable. I was believing in my bike. And I think even the final was stop and go again. So I knew that I choose wrong spot. So when I go to my mechanics they says, oh, maybe we change something, and I was pretty sure that if I will choose different spot, everything will be fine. That's always a very exciting round. I have many friends in England, many actually Polish people living here, so we always have huge support. And of course, this is very big round, big stadium. We know how English people react, mixed with Polish people, so I'm very happy to be here.
Winning it the first time was just, 2004 for me was epic, and they just got better. To be a three-timer, or whatever we want to call it, I mean, there's not many guys who have won Cardiff that many times, and so I feel really privileged to be in this group of guys. But for me, it's epic. I mean, Cardiff, like I said, there's something special about Cardiff, and no matter where you go in the world, no matter what GP venue we go to, there will never be anything as great as Cardiff has been for me as far as riding in this most amazing atmosphere.
Welcome back to MONMORE Green. So after 4 heats, it is 14-10, so a 4-point advantage to the home side. Before we resume with the action, a reminder of the other sport coming up. We've got cycling, La Vuelta at stage 4. You can see that tomorrow on Eurosport 1 at 1:30. Football, we've got live coverage of the second leg of Rangers UEFA Champions League playoff against PSV Eindhoven. Actually, all the playoff matches this week are live across the TNT Sport Network. Staying with football, Premier League though, Sheffield United against Everton, all the build-up from 11 o'clock on TNT Sports 1. Scott, I believe you've got something for us.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Just a real quick one. This on board with Ryan Douglas is brilliant because it's very rare that we get this kind of view from the start line. You can see where the boys have packed all the ruts in, and if you come back out, you can see whoever's off gate 3 here, they're threading the needle pretty fine there. There's not much room for error there. It's great. Ryan Douglas is actually in this next race off gate 3 to see if he can do it. Over to you, Kelv.
Let's see indeed. Thank you, Scotty. It was threading a needle there. It's very easy to get a bit of a snake on there if you drop into the rut either side. So it'll be interesting to see quite what goes on. Ryan Douglas out here as well as Luke Becker, who had a terrific 5-1 in their first ride. Tobias Muslak coming out effectively for his first ride. Hasn't done a lap so far. He's been through the tapes. And Tobias Muslak will be required for the Sheffield Tigers here this evening. He is a good rider around MONMORE Green. Gate number 5, Luke Becker will go from the inside in red. Jason Edwards coming in as the injury rider replacement here. Gate number 2 in yellow. Gate number 3 in blue is Ryan Douglas, and off the outside in white is Tobias Muslak. As I was saying, Muslak is a great rider. He's a Polish man, hasn't been able to make the Grand Prix. So competitive to try and break into that as a Polish rider. So many good poles around, but when he's ridden here in previous visits, he really does turn on the style, and Simon Stead will be hoping that he can behave himself this time, because they won't want to go too much further down. 14 points to 10. 3 5-1s and a 3-all in the previous race. But Luke Becker and Ryan Douglas are doing terrific work for the Wolverhampton Wolves. They're in the engine room of the team. They combine very well indeed. Luke Becker is a very tidy rider. Team riding between the two, they've got this sort of empathy. They've been riding together for some time now. So Tobias Muslak there coming forward, racing about to recommence. Gate number 4, what can he do from there? Off the inside, Becker has made a great start, and Ryan Douglas is in amongst it as well. Here comes Muslak. Muslak for his first ride effectively comes down the inside. Douglas nearly runs in the back of his teammate, had to take avoiding action, but miraculously, not only has he done that, he's hung on to second place as well. And the Wolverhampton boys are out in front. Muslak certainly now tucking to the inside. We're on board with Douglas, looking at the back of Luke Becker, down the start and finish straight, roaring into turns 1 and 2. Muslak has tried hard, trying to find a bit of extra grip, but that outside run is proving to be difficult this evening. They're all chopping back to the inside to try and utilise it. But Ryan Douglas hanging tough in second place. Becker is flying out in front. He's a country mile out in front. And another 5-1 on the cards here. And Luke Becker and Ryan Douglas remain unbeaten tonight after 2 rides. And the home team really putting pressure on the visitors now. That's a big result for them with another 5-1. As I say, those 2 riders remaining unbeaten by an opponent so far. They switch around this time. It was Douglas out in front the first time out, but this time Luke Becker was very impressive indeed. The result of heat number 5 for you. Luke Becker out in front, 3 points. Ryan Douglas back in second place, 2 points for him. Michalak, 1 point, and Jason Edwards misses out in heat number 5. I've got to say, these 2 riders together, Luke Becker and Ryan Douglas, Scott, they really do click very well indeed.
Oh, they certainly do. As you refer to it as the engine room of the team, and they really are producing the power tonight, Kelv. Luke Becker makes a fantastic start off the inside, turns the bike exceptionally hard. Down the back straight, doesn't turn his head much, but he will have a cheeky little glance to see if his teammates, they see it just there, a little nod of the head. He knows that Ryan Douglas is there, but not enough for him to enable him to lay him up the inside. Michalak there forced himself hard. Ryan Douglas almost runs into the back of Luke Becker there, and Kelv, Michalak, we've seen him, he's so good around here, but he had no answer to the boys in 3 and 4.
Well, I think he's hurting. I think he was looking for... there are limited options, aren't there, when you just drop back. That outside run is really everybody's turning back and chopping back to the inside to generate speed.
They certainly are, Kelvin. It's interesting how Ryan Douglas and Luke Becker are in shot right now. We're riding such different lines. The track is slicker tonight, but somehow Ryan Douglas had that mid-track working, which I've got to be honest, I didn't really think it would work. I thought everybody would be diving for that cutback off the inside. So encouraging signs for those 2 there, 3 and 4, Luke Becker, both unbeaten. Fantastic night for them so far.
Super stuff from them. What's going to come from the Sheffield Tigers? They have slipped behind now, 19 points to 11, 8 points in it. Tactical substitutes territory, but Simon Stead is going to have to work overtime with his programme. Carl Newman is programmed to come out here. I'm not sure if he is or not, but I'm assuming he is because Edwards is in the previous race. So this will be Carl's 4th ride of the evening. A very busy ride indeed. Sheffield have got gates 1 and 3 this time. Carl Newman just making his way round. As I say, he's been very busy indeed. This is his 4th outing in 6 races, so they haven't had too much time to reflect on what's happened this evening. It's a bit of a whirlwind for Kyle back in the Premiership. Heat number 6 then, the lineup for you is Tai Woffinden going from the inside in the white helmet colour. Gate number 2 in red is Sam Masters. Gate number 3 in yellow is Carl Newman and Steve Worrall off the outside in blue. Failed to score first time out, Steve Worrall. He'll be making amends here if he can, but Tai Woffinden, who tried awfully hard, picked up a 3rd place in heat number 4. The only 3 all of the night. We've had plenty of 5-1s this evening. That's rare in truth, that many 5-1s. But Tai Woffinden off the inside gate, quite possibly in pole position, but it's a tough race with Masters and Worrall out for the home team. 8-point lead, healthy lead after 5 races, you've got to say. And the Sheffield Tigers will want to perform well. As I've indicated, there's every chance these 2 teams will go head-to-head in the semi-finals of the playoffs. Woffinden on that inside gate, race for Wrocław yesterday in Poland. Here we go then, heat number 6. We're into the first corner and Sam Masters has made a terrific start and round the outside. Stevie Worrall, but look at this from Woffinden. How did he squeeze up the inside there? That was quality. Now Worrall round the outside. They're going to be battling in the Principality at the end of the week, but they're doing it on Monday here at MONMORE Green, and Worrall has done a brilliant ride to come round the outside. I sense that Tai was taken by surprise there. Wasn't expecting that move, felt that he was on the fastest path. But look at Worrall. Worrall's making that outside run work. Can't wait to have a chat with Scotty about that. Now Masters switching to the outside as well. Woffinden having to cover it off. A lap to go with Steve Worrall, who failed to score in heat number 1. Coming up trumps here in heat number 6. Super ride from him. One last blast round the last corner. Worrall's got the points in the bag. Woffinden hanging on eventually in second place. But that outside line, he made it work. Had to work hard to get there because Woffinden had done some supreme move up the inside initially to get his nose in front, but this man had other ideas. What a neat week it is for him. Riding like that, he's going to take a few scalps on Saturday night, you would suggest. Steve Worrall out in front, 3 points for him. Tai Woffinden back in second place, 2 points. Sam Masters, 1 point for Sam, and Carl Newman misses out in heat number 6. But what about that, Scott? That was something of a turn-up with Stevie Worrall roaring around the outside.
It certainly was, Kel. We're focused on Tai Woffinden here. You said he had the prime seat in the house off gate 1. Sam Masters he's actually got the edge on Tai there, but he can't quite hold the inside line. He allows that run up the inside where Tai Woffinden manages to hit that grip. You see him, have a look there. Tai looks for Stevie Worrall. I've got to be honest, like you said, Kel, I think he caught Tai by surprise. Tai wasn't expecting him to super around the outside. He expected to hit all that grip up the inside, but I think there's going to be a bit of head scratching going on now, Kel, because the outside's working and the boy's going to start changing setups.
Exactly, and Stevie Worrall must have done exactly that, mustn't he? He must have made a few tweaks because his bike was hooking up on the loose material.
He's actually standing right in front of me, Kel. I'm tempted to ask if he dropped. Did you drop a 2 for that one, Stevie? Oh, he dropped 2 for that one, apparently. So hope no one tells the Sheffield camp that live on TV. But yeah, it worked a treat.
Brilliant stuff. Well done. But the move worked, and the home team are going along very nicely indeed. So there's no doubt that Worrall, in that sort of form, will be chuffed to bits with that after failing to score in his first ride. Never a nice way to start the evening, but he's bounced back with a stunning ride there to get the better of a former 3-time world champion. Sad news, of course, that Chris Van Straten announced this evening that MONMORE Green will be closing for Speedway at the end of this season. They are not suggesting that they will never be back, but there will be no racing here in 2024 and the foreseeable future. They're desperately looking for a new venue, so it's sad times because this has been a stalwart of the Premiership for more than 30 years with Chris Van Straten at the helm. So 23 points to 13, 10-point lead for the home team, looking in command right now. Heat number 7 for you, Rory Schlein, smashing ride first time. He'll go from the inside in the red helmet colour. Josh Pickering failed to score. Comes out of gate number 2 in white. Zach Cook comes out of gate number 3 in blue, and Carl Howarth off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Sheffield Tigers have really got to dig in now and find a way to get to the front, because alarming signs here with 10 points down after 6 races. Time to go. We're not at the midway point yet. I'm sure that Scott letting all the information out of the bag there, saying gearing changes are rapidly going on in the Sheffield Tigers camp. Yes, I can see all the rear wheels out. Sprockets being changed around. But they'll be hoping that Josh Pickering and Carl Howarth can get themselves to the front here. But Rory Schlein will not be an easy man to beat. Certainly his performance in his first ride was very commendable indeed. And great to see Rory back. He retired at the end of 2021, sat out, route back to Australia, but didn't settle, and is back in British Speedway and doing fine work on his return. Not easy when you've had a year away, but he's slipped back into the groove seamlessly. So here we go then, heat number 7. Green light is on. Tapes are up and they're away. They get to the first corner, and once again, home team showing great form away from the tapes. Schlein hits the front, but round the outside comes Carl Howarth. Howarth now, look at that. What a move from Carl Howarth. He hustled that bike. He went from third to first. Pickering now up the inside. I've got to say, that's typical of Carl Howarth. Spent several seasons here. He's got his right leg off, he's got his left leg off, a little bit untidy, but he's winding it all out in front. Rory Schlein is trying to respond, and does he do it? Yes, he does. He does it in silky smooth style there to charge back to the front. Howarth hasn't given up the chase either. We're into the last lap. Best race of the evening so far. Carl Howarth initially taking Schlein by surprise, but Rory Schlein keeping it all together, showing great composure, fires himself back to the front, and it's a 3-all.
And Rory Schlein, after 2 rides, remains unbeaten. That was some ride by him, with Carl Howarth really putting it to him. Good speedway there in heat number 7. But a 10-point margin still retained by the home team because of that man. That was really pivotal there, and he came through in flying colours. Fair play to him. The result of heat number 7 for you. Rory Schlein on flying out there tonight. 3 points for him. Carl Howarth back in 2nd place. 2 points. Josh Pickering picks up 3rd place. 1 point for him, and Zach Cook misses out in heat number 7. I'll tell you what, Scott, that was some ride by Rory Schlein there, because initially Carl Howarth charged to the front, but Schlein remained patient and just picked his moment, didn't he?
He certainly did, Kel. Showed his maturity. It was a majestic ride. Rory Schlein does everything right in that first turn, up the inside there, gets all the grip and all the speed, but Carl Howarth muscles his way around, gives old Zach Cook a good old right hook there down the back straight. Bulldog spirit, you know what he's like, but it actually did him a favour. He got the line right coming out of that 3rd and 4th turn. Rory has a little look, knows he's beaten, but Rory was patient there, bided his time, tried to pick the moves. Carl Howarth wasn't 100% sure where to be, drifts out, and Rory Schlein just catches that little bit of grip just there up the inside, and that was enough. After that, Rory Schlein showed his home track knowledge, dived back to the inside, kept it nice and tight, head down. You know how much that means to Rory. Great win. All yours, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. What did you make of that? Use that hashtag Walshy. And Rory Schlein's going to come just behind us in vision here. He is unbeaten after 2 rides. OK, we've got Heat 8 here at MONMORE Green coming up.
You can't beat it, you know, all them fans there, even if they're not there for you personally, you know, the atmosphere there is great, you know, all the fans, they get behind the riders, you know, the whole weekend experience is just fantastic. Yeah, I remember I didn't make the best of the gates, I know that, and just have to work my way through the field and just pushing hard really for the 4 laps, and managed to get Greg to make a mistake and obviously cross the line in 1st place. Oh, it meant the world to me, especially with the guys in that final. They, you know, they're legends of the sport, and you know, to have Jason next to me and Greg, it was then pick them up on their shoulders. You know, it was a fantastic gesture from them and feeling, and yeah, to win them home one, it was, you know, there's no better feeling in the sport. Yeah, it comes up a bit on your timeline and that for Facebook and things like that. But yeah, I don't watch it too much because I don't want to, you know, get carried away with it. But yeah, it's always in the memory, and it's always there if I need to inspire myself to pull my finger out.
Well, that was a special thing, you know. That was the year actually become world champion for first time, and that was one of the steps, you know, through the career, you know, to actually continue winning the Grand Prix and to win it in Cardiff, you know. I could take that away. That would be something special that I wanted to be part of that. All the riders at that time, you know, I was looking up at, you know. You look back at Tony Ricard and Gorov and Greg and even Billy and Lee Adams and all those guys. That was guys I was looking up to, you know, and all of a sudden I was kind of beating them. So I know Copenhagen has been big to me also, you know, but Cardiff is the biggest stadium, you know. The stadium is right in the walking street, you know. It's 2 minutes, then you're in the pub or in the restaurants, you know. It's the fans are so close to you. A lot of things going on in that weekend, so it's always a tense weekend, but it's definitely one of those things, you know. I still remember, you know, I probably did it more than 15 times being part of that, and one of the reasons why I'm here again, because I really think that's a fantastic event.
I'm very good memories about Cardiff for me, because I'm been the 4 times in the final and 1 time the win. I'm very happy and proud about this, because I'm maybe not so the best meeting for me, but I think so the top 3 in my head about the best Grand Prix, because I remember the not so good start in the season, and I say to boys, I remember I will see what happened tomorrow, and I'm tomorrow win. So, you know, I think so the Cardiff is so special stadium, special atmosphere and special track for the all Speedway guys. And so, yes, I think so the most beauty place on this moment on Speedway.
Welcome back. So after 7 heats, it is the home side with a 10-point advantage, 26-16. Let's head to Leicester and Beaumont Park and get the latest from Dave Rowe now.
Where Leicester lead Kings Lynn by 4 points after 4 races. Here's a clash of the Grand Prix boys in Heat 5. Dan Bewley in red guesting for Leicester. Robert Lambert in white for Kings Lynn, turning back off the second bend. Don't forget Lambert overtook Bewley on Thursday at Kings Lynn when it was Kings Lynn against Bellevue. And once again on this occasion, Robert Lambert getting the better of Dan Bewley, and a very fast time as well, I can tell you, in this Heat 5 as Lambert takes it for the Kings Lynn Stars. A 3-3 with Justin Sedgman in third place. The gap then at 4 points at this stage, but Leicester about to make real progress. Here's the action from Heat 6. Max Frick in red, round the outside in blue. It's Drew Kemp almost running out of room. Michael Palmtoft in white for Kings Lynn, trying to come through on the inside. Simon Lambert also involved in yellow, but a good ride here by Drew Kemp off the third and fourth bend, right round the outside, fourth to second, and then clamping down Michael Palmtoft on turns 1 and 2 for a big 5-1 for the Leicester Lions, whose situation is very difficult indeed after their recent run of defeats. They're going to have to get points, you would think, at both Wolverhampton and Peterborough next week. If Ipswich do win at Kings Lynn next Monday, it's very tight indeed for that fourth playoff spot, but all Leicester can do at this stage is win their home match, and they're certainly doing so. Here's Heat 7 with Richie Worrall in red and Jake Allen in blue, getting the better of Kai Thompson and Connor Mountain, the two Kings Lynn guests in the middle order. Of course, Kings Lynn very badly injury hit. Nikolai Klint, Thomas Jorgensen and Emil Broom all ruled out, so Thompson and Mountain guesting, and that's a 5-1 from Worrall and Allen in Heat 7. And Heat 8, Richie Worrall taking the rider replacement ride. What about that for a start by Drew Kemp in blue, who's having a good night so far. Worrall going clear up the back straight in red, Kemp in blue for a hat-trick of 5-1s for the Leicester Lions, taking control of the meeting as they move clear of Michael Palmtoft and Anders Rowe. So Leicester doing the job here in this meeting. They have big challenges to come, but a 5-1 there, the third on the bounce. 8 heats gone. It's Leicester 32, Kings Lynn 16.
Dave, thank you. We're here at MONMORE Green. We're at the halfway point of the meeting, and Sheffield Tigers need to bounce back. Heat 8, and over to you, Calvin.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're absolutely right, Abby. They do need to. They are 10 points back. They've got rider replacement in heat number 8, and it'll be Josh Pickering coming in to take that ride, and Josh will be looking to try and get his nose in front for the first time this evening, but it won't be easy. Steve Worrall with that stunning ride where he lowered the colours of Tai Woffinden in his second ride of the evening. Pete Adams said in the press leading up to this meeting they've had a few close calls here. They were winning meetings by large margins at the early part of the season, but just of late they've just been creeping over the line. So they were looking to put in a really big performance, and so far, after 7 heats, it's going along very nicely indeed. Leon Flint just making his way towards gate number 1. Line-up for heat number 8 then is Leon Flint off the inside in the blue helmet colour. Jason Edwards out of gate number 2 in yellow. Steve Worrall out of gate number 3 in red, and Josh Pickering off the outside in the white helmet colour. Look how he's angling in there, trying to get to cross Steve Worrall. That could prove to be awkward if Worrall gets away well. He'll have to almost turn right before he turns left if it proves to be the case. Simon Stead, Saw them last week where they had a difficult evening at Peterborough, but they then bounced back with 2 terrific performances with wins on the road as well at Bowman Park at Leicester. That really did put them on the straight and narrow as regards the playoffs, but here this evening they're finding it tough yards. Heat number 8, midway point of the evening then. Riders moving forward. Can the Tigers get amongst the bigger points here? Here we go then, green lights on, tapes are up and we're away. Flint's made a good stop, but look at Worrall, that's stunning stuff out of gate number 3. Just high and wide, Leon Flint coming through to join him as well down the back straight. Josh Pickering away from the gate number 4, trying to get around the outside of Leon Flint. He does so, punched over the handlebars, trying to chase down Steve Worrall, but Worrall failing to score, and heat number 1 is bouncing back in brilliant style here. Superstar Leon Flint putting pressure on once again to Josh Pickering in second place. Jason Edwards is out the back. Steve Worrall running in fairly narrow and allowing the bike to run wide and hit that loose material on the outside, and it's working a treat. That change to the setup for him really is paying big dividends. Down the back straight for the last time. One more blast round turns 3 and 4. Worrall goes back-to-back heat victories for himself, and the home team once again picking up a heat advantage with a 4-2, and they're stretching the lead out to 12 points now. And Steve Worrall, what a week it is, building up towards Saturday evening in the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, and he's riding extremely well here this evening for his home club at MONMORE Green. Worrall riding nicely, really sharp start, that's what she's renowned for. He's on top form that time. Steve Worrall out in front, 3 points for him. Josh Pickering back in second place, 2 points. Leon Flint coming through in third place, 1 point for him, and Jason Edwards misses out in heat number 8. Nice 4-2. Home team are going along very nicely, but as regards Steve Worrall and Saturday night in the Principality, this is lovely stuff from him, isn't it?
Oh, set him up perfectly. He's a fantastic gate there from Stevie Worrall off gate 3. Drifts out to that dirt. We spoke about it earlier thinking it was slick and wouldn't work, and Stevie Worrall's just proven us totally wrong. Drifts out, and then Leon Flint almost gets the better of Josh Pickering there, but Josh Pickering, we know what a battler he is, just sneaks around the outside Leon Flint, and that's what the story was told. And there's Stevie Worrall just comes into shot there, riding this track perfectly well. I'm going to come in vision now. We've got Toby Michalek with us. Toby, an unfortunate start. I spoke to you a little while ago and said, did anyone move? But you just said that the ref was holding for a long time and you just tried to anticipate it.
Yeah, ref was holding for ages, and I wasn't ready for it actually, and yeah, that was my own tactic to keep my tyre fresh, but it didn't work.
Well, the bike drove perfectly well, but sadly you're out of the race. How hard is it then to try and play catch up with the setup, because you then come in at race 6 and it's a lot of races have happened?
Yeah, we are struggling actually. We've got the same setup as always here in Wolverhampton, but tonight is a little bit different. We didn't expect actually that slick, and we're struggling. We're doing some changes with the jet, and we're playing something, but we'll see. Just you know, having fun, because you have to have fun at Wolves to race really good ways.
Thanks. Well, I've seen you have lots of fun around here, mate. I'm sure you'll get it right. Thanks, Chang. Back to you, Calv.
Thanks, Scotty. Yes, I have as well. Jabaj Mujlak can be stunning round MONMORE Green. I'm sure the best is yet to come from Toby. Heat number 9, 12 points the difference. Wolverhampton Wolves showing great form tonight, and they'll be delighted with that. That's racing to come here with Tai Woffinden, I'm sure, making a few tweaks to his setup as well. Of course, he spent his entire career here up until this point at MONMORE Green. Heat number 9, Ryan Douglas, unbeaten so far by an opponent off the inside in the blue helmet colour. Tai Woffinden out of gate number 2 in white. Luke Becker out of gate number 3 with the red helmet colour on, and Carl Newman coming up for his 5th ride in the yellow helmet colour. Becker and Ryan Douglas have produced 2 5-1s in their 2 outings so far. Woffinden taken by surprise, I think, last time, with Worrall's stunning move around the outside. He'll be wise to that this time, though. Can he pick up his first win of the evening? Great to see him back in British Speedway. 2016, he won the title when he came late to the team that year, but picked up the win against the Bellevue Aces, and then elected not to ride in the UK, but question that Tai Woffinden is enjoying his spell with the Sheffield Tigers to replace Jack Holder. We are hearing that Jack Holder might be at Cardiff this weekend. Nasty wrist injury, had to have quite an extensive operation to it. It was a shame for Jack Holder. He was going along so very well in the World Championship. So that's halted his progress somewhat. Here we go, heat number 9. Can the Tigers battle their way back into this one? Woffinden move there. No red light yet. Woffinden trying to respond. Penalised himself. No red lights on. And once again, the Wolverhampton boys have fired themselves to the front. It's Douglas on the inside. Becker now coming through to join him. Neck and neck. This pairing have been absolutely dynamite this evening, and it's true, proving to be the case here. Woffinden just jumped the start there a little bit and has penalised himself, and it's very difficult to battle your way back now. Douglas and Becker once again almost joined at the hip there. They really do have a terrific understanding between the two of them. And it's looking like they're going to pick up their third consecutive 5-1 here. And that really is very impressive indeed. Woffinden back in third place. There's a lap to go. Becker now is leading from the front, with Douglas allowing his teammate to come around the outside. And Pete Adams will be chuffed to bits to see this. These two riders are performing extraordinarily well tonight. As I say, their third 5-1 of the evening between the pair of them. And Wolverhampton Wolves are a complete charge of this meeting. Home crowd delighted. Tai Woffinden there just a little bit impatient on the start line, and that proved to be very costly for him. But for Luke Becker and Ryan Douglas, they are doing the business for the home team and stretch that lead out from 35 points to 19. Becker, of course, broke his leg prior to the season starting in a big meeting on the continent and missed the start of the year, but looks like he's back to full fitness and going along very nicely indeed. So the result of heat number 9 for you. Luke Becker out in front, 3 points for him. Ryan Douglas back in second place, 2 points. Tai Woffinden, 1 point for him, and Carl Newman misses out in heat number 9, Scotty. And Luke Becker and Ryan Douglas looking nigh on unbeatable, but that jump start from Tai there just cost him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I was keen to have another look at that, Kelv, because he did jump the start and he got held up, just anticipated it there, misses the start. We know how important it is to make the starts, and then in that first turn he tries to cut back up the inside of Ryan Douglas, but Ryan Douglas knows his place inside that. Luke Becker there, tight first turn from Luke, almost goes down actually, but you can see it from this angle here again, Kelv. Tai knows he needs to get up there inside, but Ryan Douglas slams the door shut. And from there on, like you said, they work perfectly well. And that Carlson corridor that we refer to coming out of turns 1 and 2, Kelv, doesn't seem to be working so much. I may have a little look out there later, because that mid-track line is starting to work. And at the beginning of the show, we all said how slick it was, but that dirt line is starting to develop, Kelv. Yeah, it is. It's just sort of built up and evolved as the evening's gone on, and riders have adapted to it brilliantly. But you're right, it is a touch of a surprise that the Carlson corridor isn't working. Clearly the track just a little bit drier than normal. Yeah, possibly so, Kelvin. I think the hard thing with it is because you can see when you go around to the start line, you can see all that grip and the moisture down on the inside, and I think it encourages you to go there. And if you don't know this track inside out, it's a very technical track, and if you just miss that by a foot or so, you go backwards. And I think that's where the homeboys at this moment in time are dialed in and hitting the lines perfectly. They are indeed. Thanks very much, Scotty. Yes, so heat number 10 coming for you, but 35 points to 19 is a healthy lead for the home team, and it's looking tough times for the Sheffield Tigers. They'll be a little bit concerned about that. Second time they've been on television in 7 days and it's not going their way. You've got to say they're giving it everything, but the home team have responded superbly well to the pep talk from Pete Adams, who was suggesting that they needed to up their game, and so far this evening that is proving to be the case. And Ryan Douglas and Luke Becker very much instrumental in it as well. As I say, they haven't dropped a point to an opponent so far. So the lineup for heat number 10, Steve Worrall goes from the inside with the blue helmet colour. Carl Howarth out of gate number 2 with the yellow helmet colour on. Gate number 3 in red is Sam Masters, and off the outside is Josh Pickering with the white helmet colour. Got to say, this is alarm bells beginning to ring here for the Sheffield Tigers. Need to eke back into that lead, otherwise it could well be a forlorn hope here. Pride on the line for the Tigers, who have had 2 super results
in their last 2 meetings, particularly the one on Saturday night where they beat the Leicester Lions. That was an action-packed night there. It was a great result for them on the road. But here this evening at MONMORE Green, on the news that MONMORE Green will close for Speedway at the end of the season, the home team have given the home crowd plenty to cheer here. Worrall, who's won his last 2 outings, can he keep it going? Can he make it a hat-trick of wins off the inside gate? Here we go. Into the first corner. Worrall's there. Pickering's on the outside. We've got a faller there. Looks like the rider in red has gone down. So Sam Masters is back up on his feet. Clearly frustrated, Sam. He was frustrated in heat number 1. He fancied that the start was unsatisfactory. We'll see it again. Comes out of gate number 3. Doesn't get away quite as well as he would have. Gets clipped there. They all fall back. It's a classic first turn at MONMORE with Carl Howarth on gate number 2. A little bit untidy, but it often happens here. No racing room at all there. He does nothing wrong, and Sam Masters just gets collected. I'm fully expecting our referee Graham Hudson to put all 4 back here for heat number 10. It's confirmed, yeah, we all 4 back. Right decision. Masters will just take a moment to get his kit organised, and while we've got this pause, we'll pop down to Scotty. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, Kelv. Sam Masters was in shot there. It's been a frustrating night for Sam. He's so dominant here. We can see it in the background again. Sam Masters in the red. I'll just skip to the good bit. But Carl Howarth is on the gate 2 here. Carl Howarth has been lightning from the start. Very excited, but just as they come into the first turn, you'll see the 2 in the middle. They will just clash as they come into that first turn. Sam Masters knock there. Sam Masters goes down. A frustrating night for Sam Masters. He'll pick himself up, and no doubt he'll be determined to fire back in. But in the meantime, head down to you, Abby. I believe you've got a guest with you.
Yes, Scotty, I'm joined by Luke Becker. You and Ryan Douglas, just a formidable pairing tonight.
Yeah, no, it's all going good. You know, it's when things are clicking and it's making it easy. So we're, you know, hopefully we can just keep this rolling. You know, it's good form to, you know, go into the end of the season.
16 points up at the moment. But just talking about that teamwork between you and Dougie, do you get a sense that you just know where each other are? Because it looks really seamless out there.
Yeah, you know, we've been riding together for I think 2 seasons now. So I kind of know where he's going to go, and I think he knows the same. So it's, you know, it's good when things are working like that, and you know, we're good friends off the track as well. So it's all around, it's nice.
3-5-1s for you guys. Keep it going. Back to you, Calvin. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, good to hear from Luke Becker. As I say, had a nasty broken leg at the beginning of the season. Has come back remarkably well. Good to see him in fine form at the back end of the season. Instrumental rider for the home team, without question. Sam Masters picking himself up, dusting himself down, looking for a better. He also got squeezed by Pickering on the outside. He had nowhere to go, really. Second time of asking for heat number 10. Steve Worrall on the inside with the blue helmet colour. Carl Howarth out of gate number 2 in yellow. Sam Masters out of gate number 3 with the red helmet colour, and Josh Pickering in white from gate number 4. Can the Sheffield Tigers come through here? They need a heat advantage. They had one in heat number 1, but they found it very difficult subsequently. They've had a 3-all in heat number 7, a 3-all in heat number 4, but subsequently the home team have been in dominant mood, picking up significant number of 5-1s and 4-2s to stretch the lead to 16 points. Here we go. Rerun of heat number 10, takes her up into the first corner. Worrall's there, Masters has missed it. Masters trying to hustle it through the first corner. Howarth around the outside. Here comes Pickering now charging down the back straight, trying to get the better of Worrall. Can he get there? It's going to be neck and neck. Worrall just about in front. Once again, got his trapping glove on. Pickering now chopping back to the inside. Down the inside, hustling that bike. Just about got the, yes he has. Brilliant ride from Josh Pickering. Howarth up the inside. Smashing Speedway race here. Worrall now forcing his way back up the inside. Pickering trying to repay the compliment. charging into the bottom corner. Nothing to choose between the two out in front. Pickering now back to the front. This is a fabulous Speedway race. Now Masters is into the action. Gets the better of Howard. How have they avoided each other? Incredible stuff. Meanwhile, out in front, Josh Pickering is going great guns indeed. That was some Speedway race. Speedway out of the top draw there in heat number 10. Worth waiting for. And Josh Pickering just wouldn't be denied there. That was proper Speedway in heat number 10. Best race of the evening comfortably. And Josh Pickering, who said he was going to get a whole hat full of points to me before the meeting, well, he just might. With rides like that, that was very entertaining indeed. Fabulous Speedway between himself and Steve Worrall, and Sam Masters coming through as well to pick up a valuable point back in third place. But nonetheless, it was very entertaining indeed. A pleasure to watch and commentate over. So, result of heat number 10, Josh Pickering out in front, 3 points for him. Steve Worrall, second place, 2 points. Sam Masters coming through in third place, 1 point for him. And Carl Howarth just misses out in heat number 10. But I tell you what, Scott, you couldn't take your eyes off that. It was all action.
Yeah, you did well to commentate on that, mate. It was back and forward. It was all over the place. I was just enjoying watching, to be fair. Sam Masters, he's such a good gator, but he gets squeezed out big time in the first turn there. He tries to muscle his way up the inside of Carl Howarth. Like you said, Carl Howarth has ridden here before. He knows not to leave that inside gap. But as the Sheffield boys here, I mean, what a race between Stevie Worrall and Josh Pickering. Stevie Worrall has a little look here. There's a real cat and mouse cow, inside, outside. They're both read it perfectly, but in the end, ultimately, Josh Pickering just does enough to get it. And you see Sam Masters in the background who's just lurking, just taking his time, biding his time, just seeing where he can make a move. At this point, he's outside, inside. But right there, Sam Masters just out of shot there, elects to go to the inside and gets up the inside of Carl Howarth, who was having a great race but ends up bagging no points. But Josh Pickering, he said he wanted to bag some points, but he's out front there, gets the first 3 points of the night for him, and a good win for the Sheffield Tigers. Down to you, Abby.
Scott, thank you. Steady studying that programme, but you're going to make a tactical sub in this next heat.
Yeah, I'm going to put Wolfie in and hope he can get double points and, you know, whatever else has been available. But no, in all seriousness, look, it's a tough night for us. Wolves are going really, really well, so we're finding it difficult. But we've got to try and start scoring some points. Look like Pico's turned a corner there, got a great win, a great ride, but we need to all pull together now. So we've got an opportunity now to get Wolfie in, and hopefully we can get a 5-1 in this one with Toby.
Steady, thank you so much. Calvin, back to you.
Thank you, Abby. Yep, good move for Simon Stead. Tai Woffinden, who's had a tough start to the evening. Hasn't won a race so far, but Tobias Michalak and Tai Woffinden, a strong pairing, one of the stronger pairings in the league, we would suggest. But Rory Schlein out here has had 2 terrific rides himself for the home team. He's unbeaten with his 2 outings so far this evening. Zach Cook, who's had a win and a last. But for Sheffield Tigers, you would just sense that this is all about pride now, and just give the home team something to think about before this meeting comes to a conclusion. That man, just a little impatient last time, which is unusual for Tai Woffinden. Needs to remain composed this time. They've got gates 1 and 3 here, Sheffield Tigers, so an opportunity to try and pick up a heat advantage. But Rory Schlein will not be an easy man to beat. There's no question about that. Heat number 11, the lineup for you. Tobias Michalak off the inside in the white helmet colour. Gate number 2 in red is Rory Schlein. Tai Woffinden will come out of gate number 3 in yellow, and off the outside is Zach Cook with the blue helmet colour on. There it is for you. Michalak, Schlein, Woffinden and Cook. As I say, on paper, an opportunity for the Sheffield Tigers to try and get amongst the big points this time, but Schlein is a man not to be underestimated, and Cook, likewise, has been very much in the points this season for the Wolverhampton Wolves. Has done a really good job down at reserve. It's off the outside gate. Big lineup for him. Not sure he'd be intimidated at all, but for Tai Woffinden and Tobias Michalak, an opportunity to win their first race of the evening, and that is a touch of a surprise. We'll see these guys ride together again in heat number 13 as well. The riders just taking their time to come forward. bit of impatience from the start marshal. Understandable. Nobody really wants to settle down here. Do they want to go racing? Not quite sure. Coming forward now. Which way is this going to go? Will Rory Schlein remain unbeaten? Gate number 2 for the Australian this time. Little bit of movement there. The tapes are up. Michalak's there, and it's Woffinden. Woffinden round the outside, Michalak up the inside. They join each other down the back straight. The first time they've been able to do that this evening. Rory Schlein is certainly looking very threatening in third place. Looking like he was going to get to second place. Just got squeezed out of it. They're going to have to ride as a pair here, the Tigers, with Schlein is going to come on strong here, but finally they've got it working together. And this power-packed pair from the Sheffield Tigers certainly proving to be too strong for Rory Schlein and Zach Cook. It's tight though. It's closing up. The longer the race goes on, Woffinden's looking good out in front. A lap to go. Tigers on a 5-1. Will this turn the tide? Could very well do. Half a lap to go. Through the last corner. Sheffield Tigers pick up their second 5-1 of the evening. And in fine style as well. When you consider Rory Schlein was coming into heat number 11 unbeaten, that was a terrific effort from them. So they close the lead marginally to 39 points to 27 after that 5-1 there. And Woffinden wins his first race of the evening. Tobias Michalak, who always seems to enjoy himself wherever he is, particularly here at MONMORE Green, he picks up a paid win as well. So much more like it from the pairing from Sheffield. Result of heat number 11 is Woffinden out in front, 3 points. Michalak back in second place, 2 points for him. Schlein drops his first points of the evening, 1 point for him, and Zach Cook misses out in heat number 11. And I've got to say, the Tigers needed that. It was looking tough, wasn't it, Scotty? But they responded brilliantly out of gates 1 and 3.
They did, mate. Took the words out of my mouth there. The fact that the Sheffield Tigers desperately needed that, but it was a great race here. You can see the Tigers out front. Tai Woffinden exceptionally wide. There has a little look. Tobias Michalak looks at the last minute there, allows Tyler entry to get into the turn. And that was a big race for them. They're both standing right beside me now because they'll need to do that. Perhaps Stevie Worrall shouldn't have said he dropped 2 teeth, because I think those Sheffield boys have listened to that, honed in and got it dialed in, because Rory Schlein was unbeaten up until that moment. But Tai Woffinden, the man in front there, not ridden these small technical tracks, but he's certainly got it dialed in there. Great result for the Sheffield Tigers. Abby, it's all yours.
Scott, thank you. I'm enjoying that view. Scott just talking over the replay there, and Tai Woffinden and Tobias Michalak both looking on with eager eyes, just seeing the 5-1 that they just produced, bringing Sheffield Tigers back to 12 points from Wolves. We've got 4 heats remaining here at MONMORE Green. Use that hashtag Woolshy, and I'll be asking Scott Nichols your questions, not in this break, but in the following break on Discovery Plus. So keep them coming in. Heat 12 coming up.
Takes her up and we're underway. Julie's made a great start out of gate number 2. Fires himself to the front. Roars down the first corner. Smarsling now into second place with Dudek slipping back into third. Madsen didn't make it from the outside gate. Julie out in front. Looking like a winner from there for me. Absolutely sensational start. You said Chris he had a smile on his face, and so it proved. Brilliant stuff from Beauty.
Yeah, he had a smile that oozed with confidence as gate 2 became available, and he has taken this one, the bull by the horns. Look at him go, making the bike work perfectly. He's leaving Smarslik in his wake.
Absolutely. Out in front, just over a lap to go for Dan Bewley. Smarslik, the championship leader. That's no bad result for him. One last big effort for Bewley down the back straight. Here he comes. Listen to the crowd. Take him home. The winner of the Principality. Dan Bewley.
What a ride. What a ride from that young man. This is a moment he will never forget.
Absolutely right. Stunning performance. Absolutely jet propelled away from gate number 2. What a canter. Bartosz Smarslik in second place. Patrick Dudek back in third. But the night belongs to Dan Bewley from Great Britain. He picks up 20 World Championship points, moving on to 64. What a night, and the first British winner in 15 years, Chris. We've had to wait a long time, but by golly, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, his camp are going to be partying tonight. That was done so fantastically well. He made an electric start. He made the bike work in all 4 laps. He didn't make any mistakes, and he can rightly celebrate.
Presenting the trophy to another. Please give it up for Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan.
After 11 heats here at MONMORE Green, it is 39-27 to the home team. Before we resume action, a reminder of all the motorsport that's coming up across the channel includes MotoGP. They'll be in Barcelona for the Catalunya Grand Prix. You can join them from Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning on TNT Sports 2 for the free practice sessions. The Speedway Grand Prix Series heads to Cardiff and the Principality Stadium for round 8, and the build-up begins at 4:30 on Eurosport 2. The Motocross World Championships is in Turkey. You can see that midday on Sunday, Eurosport 2 as well, and the World Superbikes round 9 for them. They're in Manicourt. It's the 9th and 10th of September. Let's head over to Leicester now and get the latest there with Dave Rowe.
Well, Leicester are taking control with a hat-trick of 5-1s in mid-meeting to lead by 32 points to 16. But here's a dramatic Heat 9. Dan Bewley in red, the Leicester guest, getting squeezed out by Simon Lambert. It's Justin Sedgman in blue out in front. Watch out for Simon Lambert in yellow, because this is a big moment for him. Justin Sedgman has the advantage onto the second lap. But again, watch the rider in blue here, Sedgman, because the bike... something goes wrong, looks like a chain possibly, and Sedgman out of the race. And Simon Lambert here leads Dan Bewley around Leicester, and Simon Lambert continues to lead Dan Bewley around turns 3 and 4. And the Kings Lynn captain Simon Lambert beats Dan Bewley. Justin Sedgman on the start line, and a big win there for Simon Lambert. The Kings Lynn reserve, the skipper, he gets the victory in Heat 9 over Bewley. Heat 10, and we see a good start from the rider in yellow, Robert Lambert, taking a tactical sub-ride for the Kings Lynn Stars. Max Frick in red in second place, Jake Allen in blue. And Max Frick is a quality performer around the Leicester circuit, cutting back off the fourth bend to steam down the inside of Robert Lambert and hit the front. Good ride there by Frick, and then just closes off for Lambert on the second bend. Lambert on one wheel, and Frick in control of Heat 10, 38-22. In Leicester's favour. Heat 11, Lambert back on track with a fast start here up against Richie Worrall and Jake Allen. One look over the right shoulder, and Lambert is clear and away and gone. And then in heat number 12, this is convincing stuff from Bewley from the inside. And a good start too by Drew Kemp in blue, who's had a sequence of second places and paid wins along the way. Just watch Kemp in blue here on turns 3 and 4, because he gets it slightly wrong there on the fourth bend, but has space to recover and still get maximum points over Kai Thompson and Simon Lambert. Leicester doing all they have to do in this meeting. As I said before, they've still got big work to do next week, but they lead here after 12. It's Leicester 46, Kings Lynn 26.
So going long nicely there for the Leicester Lions, as are the Wolverhampton Wolves here at MONMORE Green. Riders being released for heat number 12, where we'll see Luke Becker, who is unbeaten by an opponent so far this evening. Josh Pickering out again here as well. MONMORE Green, it's sad news. I must say I had plenty of opportunities to ride here in the past, and I know our man there, Scotty Nichols, won several, I think it was 3 British Championships here. I hope I'm right, but he certainly was a fine performer here as well. So get the feeling there's going to be plenty of people coming along for the last 5 meetings that they stage here. But right now, the Wolverhampton Wolves are going along very well, looking certainly like they're going to confirm their place in the top 4. They've got a good-looking team. Heat number 12 for you. Carl Newman will go off the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Luke Becker, unbeaten by an opponent, will come out of gate number 2 in red. Gate number 3 in white is Josh Pickering. What a ride last time from Josh Pickering. That was terrific stuff. And Leon Flint off the outside in the blue helmet colour. 12 points is the difference between the two teams, to the home team, after the 5-1 from Michelak and Tai Woffinden in heat number 11. Can Pickering do it again? It was a terrific, typical Pickering ride, got to say. He never knows when he's beaten, and it proved to be decisive last time. But Luke Becker has been going well. Could be quite a tussle, this one. As I say, the home team won't want to slip up. They'll want to keep the pressure on the Tigers. They'll want to clinch this meeting at the earliest opportunity if they can. But it's just taking their time to come forward. Track a little bit slicker than it ordinarily is. Bike setups is quite different. Stevie Worrall making that big change. 2 teeth on the back is quite a change. It shows you how much slicker it is here this evening. Heat number 12 when the tapes are up. And Becker has made the start. Terrific effort from him. Leon Flint on the outside, but Pickering slams the door shut with Carl Newman now coming through into second place. Pickering's very wide, a little bit vulnerable there, but Luke Becker, look at this, really is in top form tonight. Majestic out in front, Will perfect once again. As I say, Carl Newman is riding much better this time after several rides where he hasn't picked up the points. It's looking like a 3-all here after a couple of laps with Leon Flint out the back. But Luke Becker in great form here at MONMORE Green tonight. Set for another win. That'll make it 3 out of his ride so far. Into the last lap. Comfortably out in front. 3-all on the cards. Pretty straightforward ride here. It was all done from the tapes, really. Sharp start. 4 perfect laps, and Luke Becker remains unbeaten. Brilliant stuff from him tonight. Good to see him back to full fitness and full and top form. Leon Flint just missing out, but for Becker, with the playoffs around the corner, quite clearly striking the right notes. But America need a new star. Could it be Becker? He's lurking there just below the international level. Just missed out in the championship challenge. But there's no doubt that he is a man for the future. Here's the start. Brilliant stuff from him. Hits the front very quickly indeed, and really and truthfully, he had no trouble at all, Scotty, did he, out in front?
No, he didn't. He rides this place so well. Coming from those small American tracks, he knows how to turn a bike. Look at that, off the gas, turns a bike nice and hard, reads it well. Carl Newman behind him, turning very well too, but yeah, the 3-all share the points there for Wolverhampton, and you can call it from there, Kelv.
Thanks, Scott. It's Luke Becker out in front, 3 points. Carl Newman back in second place, 2 points for him. Josh Pickering, 1 point for third place, and Leon Flint fails to score in heat number 12. Riders just preparing themselves for the big heat 13. What a lineup this is. Really is quite mouth-watering. It's going the way of the home team. 3 more points for them and they'll clinch it here, so a 3-all will do them very nicely indeed. But Michelak and Woffinden with a 5-1 just a couple of races ago. Number 11. May well be able to keep the pressure on the home team. Who knows, but Rory Schlein coming out as well, having a great night. Riding so well. Scotty mentioned that he had a few nasty injuries. He has indeed, and has battled back every single time, so that's to his credit. Woffinden won his first ride of the evening last time out in heat number 3, where he came in for a rider, replacement rider. Spoke to his wife as well earlier on, Faye Woffinden. Chuffed to bits to be back living in the UK, seemed much happier, much more settled. That's good to see. So riders now just coming forward for this heat number 13. Line up then for 13 is Sam Masters off the inside in red. Gate number 2 in white is Tavares Michelak. Gate number 3 in blue is Rory Schlein, and Tai Woffinden will go from the outside in yellow. Not easy from there. Quite a match-up. That could be quite a tussle, this. Sheffield really need to just try and keep the pressure on at all possible. There is an aggregate point which will be in the second leg of the B fixture. This is the first leg of the B fixture, so no aggregate point up for grabs this evening. So that will be in the back of Simon Stead's mind here this evening. He'll want to try and tighten it up if at all possible and try and make sure that they can pick those points up when they see each other in the second leg. Opportunities here nonetheless. 2 and 4, not easy. Sam Masters hasn't had the evening he was looking for, so he'll be looking for a big performance in heat number 13. Just 3 points to his name so far for Sam, and that's unusual for him. He's such a top performer around his home track. So, riders forward now. Heat number 13, terrific lineup. Who's going to get the upper hand here? Tapes are up into the first corner, and once again the Wolverhampton boys have made gates 1 and 3 work a treat. Masters has hit the front, Schleins trapped on the outside with Michelak coming through in the second place. Good ride from him. Tai Woffinden is at the back. Schleins not giving it to him easy. He responds. Once again, coming round the outside in turns 1 and 2. Quite tight down the back straight with Rory Schlein determined to slam the door shut. Michelak with his front wheel over the curb. But this is going to do the business for the home team. They have come good there off of gates number 1 and 3, and Masters out in front for the first time this evening. He'll be pleased with that, and Rory Schlein once again riding out of his skin to get the better of Tavares Michelak, who is turning that bike almost inside out with Woffinden at the back. One last blast through the final turn, and a massive 5-1 that clinches it, tight for second, but Schlein hangs on. Masters wins his first race of the night, and that seals the deal for the Wolverhampton boys here at home, and a convincing win. Moving on to 47 points after 13 heats. Michelak and Woffinden just finding it just beyond them, coming up from gates 2 and 4. So happy days for the Wolverhampton team. They'll be pleased with that. Sheffield Tigers are a good outfit, but this evening they have been second best to the home team, the Tigers. Didn't get off to a great start with the exclusion of Tavares Michelak in heat number 1. But the result of heat number 13 for you. Sam Masters, 3 points for him for the first time this evening. Rory Schlein, an excellent ride in second place. 2 points. Tavares Michelak trying awfully hard. 1 point for him, and Tai Woffinden misses out in heat number 13. Scotty, a brilliant performance from the home team to clinch the evening, and Sam Masters will be chuffed to bits to win his first race of the evening.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think Sam Masters, you can see by his whole body language, he's not happy with tonight's performance, but that race win there would have been a big deal for him. Heat 13, we know how big it is, but got to give full credit to Rory Schlein there in the blue. That was a brave move to come around the outside of Michelak, because Michelak's a forceful rider. See Sam Masters having a good look. These home boys, I have to say that the Wolverhampton team really do work as a team. I think that's really showed tonight. I think they've secured the win, but I think more importantly for them tonight, they've done it with dominance. And like Sam said in the pre-race captain's speech, that it's been very, very close. But this move here, just that shot there from Rory Schlein, he would have felt Michelak, he would have heard him. Michelak's a force rider. That engine would have been screaming up the inside of Rory, but full credit to him for slamming the door shut. And yeah, Sam Masters' first win of the night. Great for him. All yours, Kel.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Yeah, he will be feeling a touch relieved. Not accustomed to not winning races here at home. We have a change in heat number 14. Carl Newman coming in for Jason Edwards, and he's had to take his second bike, with the first bike feeling a bit second-hand. Engine may have just been tightening up a touch, so he's elected to go with the second bike. Carl Newman has done a pretty good job, nonetheless, coming in. Team haven't clicked as well as they would have liked. Starting has been absolutely at a premium tonight, particularly from gates 2 and 4. But 47 points to 31 after 13 races, that will please Pete Adams no end. He'll be delighted with his the way his team has gone about it. They've shown great intent and resolve, and it's come through in flying colours. 2 races to go. From the Sheffield Tigers' point of view, they need to keep it as close as they can, so they'll keep battling right to the conclusion, that's for sure. The riders coming forward. We're just waiting for the final rider to come round. I believe that could well be, yes it is. The rider is Carl Newman coming in to replace Jason Edwards. You can see there with the clean looking machine coming out for heat number 14. Not too far to go before he gets to the tapes. Ryan Douglas out here as well, who's done a great job for his team as well this evening. Certainly very instrumental in the win. Heat number 14, the lineup for you. Carl Howarth off the inside in white. Gate number 2 in blue is Zach Cook. Gate number 3 in yellow is Carl Newman. And off the outside is Ryan Douglas in the red helmet colour. It says he's got 7 points, but he's got 2 bonus points as well. So he hasn't been beaten by a Sheffield Tiger rider. So he's had a great evening. There's Pete Adams, clearly satisfied. Having a chat with Luke Becker, who has ridden very nicely indeed this evening. Encouraging signs for the Wolves, as I say, it would be very apt if they were managed to pick up their first league title since 2016. With the news that the club, the Speedway club, is closing here at MONMORE in October. Here we go then, heat number 14. The meeting is done, it's about pride on the line for the Tigers now. Tapes are up into the first corner. And look at the Wolverhampton Wolves, they're at it again here. Off the start in fine style, and Zach Cook hits the front. Douglas trying to get round the outside of Carl Howarth, who's desperately looking for a way through, but once again the Wolverhampton boys are working really nicely together. Zach Cook looking for his teammate. He's just to slow down a touch, to allow Ryan Douglas to get his nose in front. So right now they've got a sufficient lead. Working out quite as well as they would have liked. Maybe Ryan Douglas will switch back to the inside. No, he's elected to stay wide. So Carl Howarth back in third place, giving it his very all. Newman has pulled up at the back. So they're just turning it on once again, and the home team in dominant mood here this evening. Another 5-1. Convincing stuff from the home team. And Zach Cook, who won his first ride, then failed to score in the next 2 outings, but finishes his evening off with a terrific win there in heat number 14, followed through by Ryan Douglas. They didn't work together quite as well as Douglas and Becker did, but nonetheless they pick up a maximum score. They go along, they move on to 52 points now, so a good return for them. So Zach Cook delighted to finish his evening off with a nice ride there. Result for you very shortly. We'll do the replays first then, and out of the start it was all about Zach Cook, Scott.
Yeah, it was. He makes a brilliant start, and we said it earlier, the Wolverhampton boys are looking for each other. Perhaps not quite the chemistry that the engine room had earlier on, and ironically, Kelvin, you will know, sometimes before poor Zach Cook on the inside, when you shut the engine off to go slow, you actually go faster because you get more traction.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened to Zach there, bless him.
It did indeed, but nonetheless they managed to put it off, and they came through, and Zach, holding that inside line, had a really nice way to finish his evening off. He'll have a big smile on his face. So we'll move down to Abbey now. Then quickly the result for you. Zach Cook, well, he's got 2 points there on the screen, but it's 3 actually. But Ryan Douglas back in second place, 2 points for him. Carl Howarth back in third place, 1 point, and Carl Newman misses out. And we'll get down to Abbey.
Calvin, thank you. It's been an impeccable team performance from the Wolves boys. I'm going to be asking Scott Nichols your questions. So any final questions that you've got for him, use that hashtag Walshy. I'll be asking them on Discovery Plus during the break. We've got the big Heat 15 coming up. Right, it's that time of the night, Scotty. Here we go. James, thank you. Your moniker's quite good. It's from the first bend. His question, considering the playoffs are coming up, as a rider, would he prefer the first leg at home or away?
Generally away, I think, because you should be stronger and more dominant at home. So at least then the carrot's dangled. You know what points you've got to make up or what lead you have.
Makes sense, makes sense. Okay, obviously there's loads of thoughts and opinions and questions about the news that Wolverhampton won't be competing next year. Right, so what could be the solution? Do you think, this is from Paul Cooper, there could be a squad system for British Speedway given the sad news tonight of Wolves not riding next year?
I mean, it's kind of almost two different kind of subjects, really. I mean, first and foremost, Wolverhampton not running next year is devastating. I mean, it's a club and a track I've always loved riding for and at. But in terms of squad system, it's an option. I mean, there's lots of other permutations. I think right now we need to try and focus on the positives, what clubs we do have, how we can push the sport forward. Is there any way of getting any of those other clubs back? Oxford have done that fantastically well, so that gives a shining light to potentially others, hopefully.
And could a club like Oxford go up to the Premiership, and I mean all different permutations?
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, it's there are permutations with things like that, but it's just a case of you want the best teams in this top league so you can get the best racing.
I still want to respect that all the messages that have come in. Scott, this is from Kevin Hammond. Is Elite Speedway, or Premiership Speedway as it's known, sustainable in the UK following the news that both Peterborough and Wolverhampton will be dropping out in 2024?
Do you know what? It's such a kind of double-edged sword, that one, because we've got, your Tai Woffindens, Robert Lamberts, you've got all these GP boys coming back into the series. Controversial towards the end, but it's a case of, I think it is sustainable, but we need to push it and, promote it and be positive about it.
Yeah, let's keep the positivity there. Okay, let's jump to the Grand Prix series. We always have this idea as well. What's your final thought for Cardiff?
Final thought? I like the hashtag Woolshy, Woolshy, won't she?
Woolshy.
Final thought, I mean, how cool would it be to see Brit on the podium?
Brit on the podium. Thank you, Scott. Okay, so welcome back to Monmore Green. Wolverhampton Wolves have been so dominant tonight. They have got a 20-point advantage, but we do have one heat remaining. But before we get on with the action, a reminder of the other sport coming away. It includes cycling, La Vuelta at Stage 4, Eurosport 1 Live, and Cycling Tour Britain on Discovery Plus Live Sunday at 11:40. All 8 stages live on Discovery Plus. Mountain Biking World Cup from Ludenville is Eurosport 1 Live on Sunday. And Scott Nichols now is with the team managers.
Thanks, Abraham. I'll be quick as Pete wants to get to the Indian after. But Pete, it's been a great performance by the boys tonight. You've won, you're unbeaten, but the last few weeks it's been close. Tonight was a dominant performance.
Yeah, about time, but I think when that engine room pairing in the middle of our team fires, then, we can deal with anybody, I think.
You certainly can, obviously. It's all about the playoffs, all about winning that league. Obviously, the sad news, Wolverhampton. How much more does that inspire you boys to go on and lift that title?
Well, a lot, obviously. We're disappointed, obviously, to say the least, about what's happening with the stadium here. But no, our intention right from the off was to make this a special year. And now we got as far as the playoffs. That remains a prospect.
Well, you secured your place in the playoffs. Is your choice of gate position for Heat 15? What gates and riders are you going with, please, Pete?
We're going to have 1 and 3, Douglas and Becker in that order because they're maxed out, both of them.
Definitely so. Thanks, Pete. Going to come to Simon. Simon, obviously not the result you're looking for, but you've got team changes coming up for next week, and those very much in the playoff shout.
Yeah, looking a lot of our hard work was done over the course of the last couple of meetings. There were 2 really, really big results for us. We knew tonight was going to be tough. Especially with the unbalance at the moment, but like you said, we'll be back to full strength on Thursday, and we need to kick on again then.
Okay, Heat 15, see if you can pull out something. What riders are you going with, please?
We'll go for Toby off 2 and Wolfie off 4.
Okay, there you go. So the Wolves go 1 and 3, Sheffield Tigers 2 and 4. All the best. Back to you.
Scotty, thank you. Well, let's head over to Beaumont Park and to Dave Rowe.
Job done here for Leicester, meeting they had to win. They're convincingly in front, but Robert Lambert has kept things going as far as Kings Lynn are concerned, with a stream of race wins, particularly later in the meeting. Here's heat 13, Lambert out in front of Max Frigg and Richie Worrall. In fact, it's Max Frigg's first defeat of the meeting, as Lambert makes a good start from the inside and dominates for a shared heat in heat number 13. Heat number 14 with Justin Sedgman and Jake Allen in red and blue. These are two riders who Leicester desperately need to find top form in the next week or so, because they've got huge matches to come as they try and confirm a playoff place. This is a 5-1 over Connor Mountain and Simon Lambert to make it 54-30 with one heat to go. Battle of the big guns came up in heat 15, and again Robert Lambert with the inside gate in red having the better of Dan Bewley and Max Frigg. Lambert piling up 16 points in a terrific performance for the Kings Lynn Stars, but Leicester win here and they go back into the top 4. But the crucial thing is next Monday they travel to Wolverhampton and Ipswich go to Kings Lynn, and then Leicester are at Peterborough next Thursday, and that is where things will all get sorted out. Convincing victory here for Leicester, but they have to kick on from here. Lambert superb with 16 points, Max Frigg scoring 13, Dan Bewley 11-1, Richie Worrall 11-2 for the home side, who get back on the winning track at last. But can they keep it going next week? Leicester back in the top 4, Leicester 57, Kings Lynn 33.
Terrific result then for the Leicester Lions after being beaten convincingly at midday by the Bellevue Aces. Fair play to them. It's two huge matches coming for them to see exactly who makes the top 4. Will it be Ipswich or will it be the Leicester Lions? Keep abreast of all the information coming to you. Plenty of jeopardy left there. One more big race to come here. It's been the Wolves evening. Good to hear from Pete Adams. Clearly the team being inspired this evening and putting in a sterling work. One more race to go to complete the evening. And we'll see a trilogy here of Tobias Michalak and Woffinden riding together. 1-5-1 for them, and then they got heat 13 where Sam Masters and Rory Schlein came out on top, but this time in heat 15 it's a different lineup for the Wolves pair. Woffinden just making his way round to the start now. Heat 15 then, Ryan Douglas off the inside in the red helmet colour, unbeaten this evening. Tobias Michalak out of gate number 2 in white. Gate number 3 in blue, likewise Luke Becker is unbeaten, and off the outside in yellow Tai Woffinden, who's had a tough night actually. Hasn't gone quite the way he would have liked, but he's been doing a great job for the Sheffield Tigers so far on his return to British Speedway. Will there be a consolation here for the Sheffield Tigers, or will the Wolverhampton boys just keep piling on the pressure? So far they have. They really, every time the Sheffield Tigers put a little bit of pressure on, they respond in fine style. As I say, it's been a terrific turnout by the crowd. Must congratulate everybody for making the effort on Bank Holiday Monday. The start and finish straight, the bars, everything absolutely jam-packed here for this evening. No question, a lot of people have come to see Tai Woffinden tonight, but nonetheless, it's been great to see a healthy crowd in a MONMORE green. Here we go then for the final time this evening. Tapes are up into the first corner. Woffinden off the outside has made a great effort, but Douglas coming through there. Hits the front in heat 15. Woffinden running hard and wide. Michalak coming through into third place, keeping Becker out the back. It's tight there, but Douglas really did make a sharp getaway there. This is a smashing effort from him. Becker searching for a way through, but Michalak slams the door shut there. Woffinden having to take an avoiding action there. Nearly clipped the back of Brian Douglas out in front. Douglas, as a consequence, has stolen a march. Becker now! Becker coming on, Michalak almost off the bike. Becker's come through, but Michalak, oh, crikey, they clash coming out of turn 4 there as they enter the last lap. Down the back straight for the final time this evening. And Ryan Douglas is going to get a paid maximum. What a night for him. Woffinden follows him home in second place. Becker drops the points for the first time this evening. But the evening is all about the Wolverhampton Wolves. That's a smashing evening's work for them. And and they're through and confirm their place in the playoffs as a consequence. So a great evening all round. Luke Becker will be a touch disappointed not to pick up any points in heat number 15, but for that man, electric away from the tapes in heat number 15 and completes his paid maximum this evening. Great effort. Rightly, roundly applause. Appreciated rather by the home crowd. Smashing evening for Ryan Douglas and his teammates. So heat number 15, Ryan Douglas out in front, 3 points. Tai Woffinden back in second place, 2 points. Michalak, 1 point for him, and Luke Becker missing out in heat number 15. Scotty, Ryan Douglas, fully deserved paid max.
Oh, it certainly was, Kelv. What a night. I mean, especially to do it over Tai Woffinden, 3-time world champion here on board with Ryan Douglas. He's such a good gator and he takes full advantage of inside gate. But Tai Woffinden, you can see him lurking on the outside there. But Tai, when he raced for the Wolves, he was so dominant. And yeah, so for Dougie, great night. In the engine room, like you called it, brilliant night for Dougie.
Yeah, it was indeed. And a smashing night for the home team. They have done the business and a convincing victory over the Sheffield Tigers, and they build up towards the semi-finals of the playoffs in fine style here this evening. Great night from the home team, and we'll make our way back to Abbey now.
Cal, thank you. It has been a brilliant night for Wolverhampton Wolves. They win this meeting by 20 points. They've secured their place in the playoff alongside Bellevue, who had a huge victory over Leicester Lions earlier today. So this is how it looks. The jeopardy really is for that fourth spot. So Bellevue top the table as they have done all season. Wolverhampton Wolves in second. Sheffield Tigers in third. Leicester Lions in fourth with 32 points. Ipswich Witches in fifth with 31 points, but do have Leicester Lions have a match in hand over the Witches. Kingsley Stars in sixth and Peterborough Panthers in seventh. Scott, that is tight. It's jeopardy as we've got a couple of weeks of the regular season remaining.
It is tight, and how cool is it? Like, it's really going down to wire. It makes all these last few meetings so much more important. I've got to say hats off to Wolverhampton tonight. They've won, but they've only won by a slender margin the last few weeks. They failed the pressures, but tonight was a dominant display.
Yeah, and Ryan Douglas said it, Pete Adams said it, that they want to be more dominant at home because they've actually been better away than they have from home, especially when you come into the playoffs. And like you said, you need that fortress to be your home ground.
You do, and that's encouraging signs for the Wolves because they're in the past not been the best travellers. They've done their work at home. So if they're good on the road and doing their work at home, that's brilliant. Luke Becker come back from some injuries this year. Kelv called it the engine room. Pete Adams said when those boys are clicking, it kind of filters through the team, and it certainly showed tonight.
Who do you think is going to be joining them? Who do you think are going to make the playoff positions alongside Wolves and Bellevue?
Well, you know, Leicester have really kind of turned up the ante tonight and got a win. I mean, Ipswich are kind of clawing in there, but I think, you know, you've got Wolverhampton, Sheffield, Bellevue. I think they're the three. I think it's between Leicester and Ipswich. I mean, the stands are super close. You can see the stands coming up now, Abby. You did well to read it earlier. It really is between those two there, Leicester and Ipswich.
I know, it's really tight times, and Ipswich have been on a run of great form. Leicester Lions have been on a run of really challenging form, but they picked themselves up tonight. They showed resilience to get the win over Kings Lynn.
They did. Ipswich had that momentum. They'll be kicking themselves that they did. They come within 2 points here. If they had got that win, how different could that have been? It's going to go down to the wire.
It's going to go down to the wire. We have the semi-final of the playoffs in 3 weeks' time. Who's going to be in them? We'll look forward to seeing you then. Bye from all of us.